think it was right what her father did.
Now freed from her 13-year conservatorship, Britney is telling her story. And this music legend is candidly sharing her feelings about Britney's time under her dad's control.
It seemed to serve him, you know, no matter what the help that she needed and needs, if she's still needing it, I hear things, no matter what, you just don't. You love your children, and sometimes you have to step in. I didn't like it, so I wanted to let her know that I was watching and I was listening. When we were in Las Vegas, everybody on the Strip knew. We just didn't know how deep it was, but we knew something was really not right. And you could tell, everyone would say, oh, she's medicated, but just not enough to not be able to work. And I mean, when people talk, they multiply things. But I knew there was a certain basis, there was that grain of truth in it, so it bothered me.
Maybe he helps too. Cher's been dating 37-year-old music producer Alexander A.E. Edwards.
We just get each other.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing on this fine Saturday? Yes, Saturday. I just couldn't hold off any longer. I needed to talk about this situation. I need to talk about the Cher situation. I have done a little bit of research. I have some court documents. I want to talk about it. I did want to play that clip up front, though, because that was just from 2 months ago. Cher was condemning Jamie Spears because I've been hating how my mic sounds lately, but I'm not like an audio technician, so I gotta like troubleshoot somehow, but do my best. I've had a chance to look through some court documents, and I've started a little bit of a timeline. So I just want to let y'all know this is a very winding journey. This is kind of like not a very easy story to research because there's a bunch of different court cases going on. It's not like super difficult either, but it's going to take me a little more time. I'm thinking I'm probably going to end up doing a BJ Investigates, like a fully edited, set up one or whatever, like higher production. So today's kind of going to be a little bit like a stream of consciousness, live investigation kind of thing. So, yeah, I just want to start off by saying, I just started researching this yesterday or the day before, and I don't really know a whole lot about the situation. I'm not an expert. All the stuff that I'm going to be talking about is based on public records, things that are in the public domain. Now, technically speaking, everyone does have access to all the information I'm going to be talking about because it all came from public information, public sources. But some of this stuff it's behind a paywall. You have to pay for it. It used to be Stanley Moss Courthouse would charge like $4 or $5 just to run a name search for a court case in there. Now I think it's $1, and I'm just curious as to the reason they changed that. I'm glad they did. It should be no dollars, but I digress. Yeah, so some of the stuff is behind paywalls and stuff, but it is public record and the public can access it. Anybody can access it. Okay. Yeah, so there's probably a better way to organize it. That's why I did that whole disclaimer about like I haven't been able to research it to the degree that would make me comfortable to speak on it, like kind of. So I'm putting these qualifiers in. I'm looking at my little chart. I made a chart. I don't want to show it to y'all yet, but it's on this whiteboard. Oh, you might have been able to see it. Anyway. Okay. So I think there could be different and better. Hold on. Ugh, this is aggravating. There could be different and better ways to organize this information. That's the whole point. Could be, but I'm looking at my little notes here. Let's see. I'm doing my best. Okay, so let's start, I guess, with the news that Cher. It's just headlines all over the place the last couple of days. Cher, the singer from like the 70s, she filed to put her son in a conservatorship. Okay. So that's breaking the news. That's in the headlines and all that. Not really breaking. It's a few days old now, but Cher's going to put her son in a conservatorship, or she is trying to. So I thought maybe let's just like start with one of those. Okay. So, well, yeah, let's start with that. I do have this other article here. Hold on. Share my screen with y'all. Okay. This article, this extra article from 2 months ago, when is it from? October 20th, 2023. This is where I got the information that Cher was talking about Britney's conservatorship. So that was 2 months ago. So let's see how her tune may have changed or stayed the same in 2 months. So this is from December 28th, 2 days ago. Cher files for a conservatorship of son Elijah Blue Allman due to what? What's her reason? This is going to be important later. It's like a Blue's Clue right here. Elijah Blue's Clues right here. I cannot stand ads moving all across. They put in the ad. Oh no, that's not ads. Is that an ad? They put in the ads and the videos in the reader view now, please, for the love of God. Okay. Cher has filed for conservatorship of her son, Elijah Blue Allman, due to his alleged recent substance abuse issues. Okay, this is going to be important. I just want y'all to pay attention to the reason. The reason stated is these severe substance abuse issues. Okay, it's important. According to documents filed in Los Angeles Superior Court, the same courthouse, y'all, just for those taking notes, keeping track at home, the same courthouse as the Britney Spears conservatorship. And indeed, actually, the same judge makes an appearance, but we'll get to that. Cher, 77 years old, is seeking to be the sole conservator of her son's, what is it? Estate. Notably missing from this article is that, whether Cher is seeking control over his person. And so it does make a reasonable person ask, what would make a person think they should only be in control of their son's money if their whole concern is their health? I ain't going to repeat it. Just ponder on that. The document states that although Elijah is due to receive assets from a trust fund before the end of the year. Hold on a second. Hold on one second. The document states that Elijah is due to receive assets from a trust before the end of the year. is December 27th, 2023. The day I'm making this video is December 30th, 2023. The end of the year is right now. So he's due to receive assets from a trust right now. Not even a week before the end of the year, the deadline for him to get his money. They're doing this? Okay, cool. All right. I mean, I'm sorry to, dwell too much, what is it called? Beating a dead horse, belabor the point, whatever. But seriously, y'all, this is like 2 red flags. Like, it's so many red flags, it's 2 of them. He's supposed to get assets from a trust right now while they're filing for this conservatorship. Now, we're going to get into what the trust is and all that, but spoiler alert, you might be sitting here thinking, well, maybe Cher doesn't want to give the trust fund money to the kid because it's her money. Maybe that would be, a consideration to make, but that's not the situation we're dealing with here. Guess whose the money's trust is from? The kid's dad. And I say kid, I mean, he's 47 years old. It's a 47-year-old man. His father was also a very famous musician and just sort of like Hollywood personality type back in the same time frame as Cher, Greg Allman. He was part of a sort of like rock, R&B, like music that kind of sounds like Kid Rock's music. If you're not familiar with the genre, it's like Southern rock. It's cool. It's good music. I like it. I mean, I haven't re-examined it lately. Like maybe there's something messed up about it I never noticed before, but I like the music. It's kind of laid back. It's kind of chill. It's like the stuff your like uncle in North Carolina listens to at the barbecue or whatever. So that's the father. They were married. He was married to Cher, one of the Allman brothers. And in 1970 something, they got married. They were married for like 5 years and they had one son. The son's name was Elijah. Now, we will venture into this eventually, but Elijah filed to change his name, or somebody filed to change his name in 1999. And the records are sealed, but I'll show y'all what is publicly available. Anyway, I digress. He is the son of Cher and another famous guy from the 70s or whatever. They were married, they got divorced. The famous guy died recently in the last several, few years or whatever. And I'm assuming, I don't know, this part speculation, I really don't know. I'm assuming they were sorting out, tying up all the loose ends of his estate, getting everything sorted out, figured out. And now it's finally done. And it's time to start making distributions from the trust. Now, if you don't know anything about trust, this really doesn't actually matter. I'll give you all the TLDR, like the layman's definition. I'm not an expert. Hire a trust attorney if you need one. This is not legal advice, all that. But when you're about to die, you got to do a will or whatever, or maybe not when you're about to die, probably like if you really care about the stuff you leave behind, probably you should just write one today or whatever. But you do a will, like a last will and testament. You write, when I die, I want to leave my guitars collection to my cat and, my, yearbooks to my little sister or my nephew, whatever. I want to leave my bank account to my whatever. Well, the reason you write a will is to make sure that when you die and you leave things on this earth, earthly possessions, they actually get distributed in the way that you wanted. Now, should that be how it is? All that, we can have ethical, philosophical discussions. That's not the point of this conversation. The point of this conversation is to say, there's not legal advice, but from what I understand as a non-expert in trusts and estates and things, the kind of meme, it's like, I still can hear teachers saying it in my mind. Like it's a lawyer, like meme kind of sorts. It's a what's it called? Figure of speech. A figure of speech that you hear all the time in like legal world is you write the will or you write the trust to keep it out of to keep the assets out of probate. You write a will or you write a trust to keep it out of probate. Like keep it out of probate, keep it out of probate. What does that mean? Well, it means when it goes to probate court, let's say you die with no will. Let's say some billionaire, he never bothered to write a will. And he just died. And he has all these kids and all these businesses and all these entities and all these people are saying he owes them money. Like, what do you do? Well, hopefully he's left behind extremely, very, very detailed instructions and people, that he's talked to about this. But I just told y'all he died with no will. So then now we're in court. He didn't leave anything behind. He has no will. He has all this money. He has all this stuff that needs to be figured out. Well, in that case, there are certain kind of like state by state and things like that, rules that are applied where, you'll go, sorry, I was like thinking about Brenda Penny and I got distracted. There's certain rules that are applied just so there's some type of like rhyme and reason to this, right? So in some states it might be, well, if the person left behind a spouse, the spouse gets 100% of everything. Nobody, y'all take it up with her, his widow, or him, whatever. Some states it might be what you know what I mean. You go down the list. It's a lot of the rules are generally similar and some are very different. Well, in a will, you can say, for example, when I die, I want my son to get a living stipend of $1,000 a month, 10,000, $1 million, who knows, right? Like you leave behind instructions what to do with your money. Like what if you leave behind a kid and you want to financially support them? What if you want to give them money? Again, we can get into the philosophical inheritance ethics, but this is the state of the world we live in right now. So for it's more likely than not what happened, in my opinion, I'm speculating completely right now, but I'm assuming this Greg Allman guy, he had a will. When he passed away, probably maybe the will said something about giving money to his son on a yearly basis or a monthly, weekly, who knows? I don't know. I have no idea. But there was perhaps some contemplation of giving money to this son, distributions from the trust. And so he's supposed to receive those now, right now, like in the next 2 days. And 2 days ago, this was filed. Okay. Got it? All right. Yes, I know. She's a thought invader. She hijacked my thought antenna. Okay. To receive assets. Okay. So even though he is supposed to get his assets from trust before the end of the year, a conservator is, quote, urgently needed to protect Elijah's property from loss or injury because he's unable to manage his assets due to severe mental health and substance abuse issues. Okay, why? Okay, he's about to get all this money, but he needs a conservator because the conservator will know how to spend the money better than him. Why will the conservator know how to spend the money better than him? Well, according to this article on People magazine, it's because Elijah's, quote, currently unable to manage his own assets. So somebody else will be better at managing them, right? Why? Because of, quote, severe mental health and substance abuse issues. The document also states that his estranged wife, Mary Angela King, is not fit to be his conservator because their tumultuous relationship has been marked by a cycle of drug addiction and mental health crises. So, I guess apparently, according to some people out here, it is a really good reason, and you can even tell it to a court, that somebody's wife shouldn't be who manages the estate because they have had fights in the past and there has been drug addiction and mental health issues. And so it really means nothing when I hear people talking about removing a stigma of mental health and drug abuse. When I read articles like this, we've gotten nowhere. We've gotten absolutely nowhere. There have been mental health and drug issues in his marriage. And so therefore, his wife shouldn't have the right to like help him manage their estate. And it's been reported places that the wife is his ex-wife and they are divorced. That is not what I was able to confirm in the court documents, and we'll get into those. But from what I can tell from the docket, and I'll show y'all what I'm relying on, they're not yet divorced. There was a divorce filed for. There was a divorce filed for in November 2021. But it hasn't been actually finished. Like a few months after that, both of them, the couple, Elijah and Mary Angela, they both kind of agreed with the court to halt the lawsuit of the divorce because they were working on their marriage. I mean, this is in court filings. So we're going to get into some twists and turns, some kidnapping allegations and things. Cher is apparently involved. Michael Jackson's guitars are involved somehow, or art pieces or something. It's going to be twisty and turny. I hope y'all brought a snack. Okay, there's going to be like a Saturday chill out. I'm going to be here maybe a while. But I guess according to the way these people think, if you've had drug issues or substance abuse issues or mental health issues ever, then you're not fit to help your spouse manage your estate. And this is kind of like getting back to the heart of why I started this whole entire channel, this journey, this rabbit hole, whatever you want to call it, is that this does not align with my morals. And I don't think it aligns with most of we the people's morals, that because somebody has had addiction or substance use issues, concerns, troubles, struggles, whatever, that they're somehow unfit as a human. Like it's like original sin. Like once you've ever had that, that's like the mark of the scarlet letter. And it's like the same damn people. It's like they're trying to trick us or something. Because it's like literally the same people that will say shit like this. Excuse my language. I'm worked up. It's the same people that will say stuff like this out of one side of their mouth. Out the other side of their mouth, they will say something like, we have to remove the mental health stigma. And we have to remove the stigma about drug and substance abuse because it's people, it's really human beings we're talking about. You have to be nice. You have to understand where they're coming. Those same people saying that stuff are the same ones that are saying he can't manage his estate because he has a history of substance use and he has a mental health diagnosis. And this is why, I mean, this is just another example. It's almost like it's like a I don't want to be I don't want I need a minute. I probably do need like a different channel where I say what I really think about things, but okay. So let's read on. The filing continues. Oh, thank you, evil Debbie. Hope you're not actually evil. They try reaching out to Dead Sea's manager, girl, Josh Richmond. He is best friends with who's Johnny Depot? Do you mean Johnny Depp? Oh no, Depo. Sorry. Okay, listen, y'all. Okay, I'm a square here because I really don't know a lot about the people's music and the art. And I don't like going into investigation without like fully doing all my, research first. But like I said, I want to talk about what I did find. So try reaching out to Dead Sea's manager, Josh Richmond. He is best friends with Johnny Depot. That's Elijah's band. Josh is a talker. Okay, I'll have to do a little bit more family tree here and like put all the people together. Yeah, exactly. Forcing someone to get help never works. My friend and neighbor was an addict in and out of rehab, tried, couldn't beat her. Yeah, I mean, it's no help helps sometimes. It's very simple. It is very simple. It is difficult to accept it and the emotional like vulnerability that is involved and required for you as a loved one, a friend, somebody that just, cares about a person. There's a lot of pain and grief involved in the acceptance that until the person that you love wants to modify their behavior in some way, you're not going to really fix anything. You can't. So that's difficult to accept it, but it's very simple. It's a very simple, like logical concept. Emotionally, it's more difficult. You cannot help somebody who does not want the help. You cannot. You cannot. It would almost be better if they tried instead to just brainwash the people into wanting to get better. Like maybe go one step back, better, right? Because I mean, a lot of people will say, I'm just fine. And you have to be able to be willing to accept that that might be true for them. And sometimes when you're looking at it and you're like, they're going to spend all their money that their dad worked so hard for. It's like, maybe they're just going to have to. The whole point of this whole thing is you have to learn from your own mistakes. The man is 47 years old. We're not talking about like a 16-year-old, okay? We're not talking about a 20-year-old. You just got to let him make his damn choices, period. That's it. The filing continues, and we're going to look at the filing because I have it. Elijah is entitled to regular distributions from a trust, but giving his ongoing mental health and substance use issues, Cher is concerned that his money is going to be spent on drugs, leaving him with no assets to provide for himself and putting his life at risk. Okay, I just need to stop right here. I need to stop right here. First of all, how is it that Elijah is currently taking care of himself? Because right now, Elijah doesn't have this trust money. I mean, that's what this article just told me, right? He is due to, what does it say? He is due to receive assets from trust before the end of the year. It means he has not received it yet. He is due to receive it. He's about to. He's fixing to. He finna receive the assets. He hasn't gotten them yet. So, riddle me this, Cher and company. What's going on with him right now? He don't have the money yet. He's due to. He's finna get the money. So, where's he living now? Why is it all of a sudden right now, and they telling on themselves, literally, they're just saying the truth up front, point blank. He needs a conservatorship. What's their term they used? Urgently, he needs a conservatorship. Urgently right now. All of a sudden. Why? Cher is concerned about this trust. Hello. Leaving him with no assets to provide for himself. But what assets is he currently providing for himself with? He's due to receive it. He hasn't received. So tell me how, if he okay, let's go through Cher's worst case. He's going to spend all the money. She doesn't say he's going to do drugs and die. No, she does not. That's important to note. They will immediately be spent on drugs. She could say, leaving Elijah dead. She's concerned for his life and safety. But that's not what it says. Read it to me. Look at it right here. I'm reading it from the page. What does it say instead? Leaving him with no assets to provide for himself and putting his life at risk. This is a conjunction. A conjunction joins two pieces of a sentence together to make a larger sentence. And this one is dependent. You have to have something in front of and. She's concerned he's going to buy drugs and have no assets. When he buys the drugs, it will leave him with no assets. This is the construction of the sentence. I'm not trying to have an English, class lesson here, but it is very, very important to understand this language because lawyers understand language and they wrote this. Every word in a court document is there on purpose for the most part. Of course, there's always typos and crap, but this is the logical structure. This is the sentence structure, the logical structure of their argument. She is concerned that funds will be spent on drugs and then leaving him with no assets and putting his life at risk. She is concerned he will spend the money on drugs, leaving him with no assets. So she's not saying he's going to have all the drugs, have all the drugs and he's going to overdose and he's going to die. No, that's not what she said. She says it's going to leave him with no assets. It's logically unsound in many ways. For one, how is he providing for himself right now? He doesn't have these trust funds. So how is losing the trust funds that he already right now doesn't have gonna hurt him? If she had said he's going to binge and he's going to die, that would be different. She said, I am concerned. The funds are going to be spent on drugs, leaving him with no assets. What about the funds that he's supporting himself with right now? Is a judge in the Stanley Moss courthouse going to use logic? It's possible. I saw one that did one time in my case, but then I've also seen Reva Gates. Thanks so much. Alicia. So if he spent all the trust, Cher doesn't have resources to support it. That is another good point. I haven't exactly thought of it that way because I don't really ever think your parents should support you when you're 47, but good point. Because she is making it her damn business to interfere in his father's inheritance to him. She is making that her business. So it does lead the reasonable person to ask, why would his life be at risk if he spends all his money? You care so much about him that you're willing to do all of this shenanigan. You're not willing to put him up in your house? Or one of them that you probably own a bunch? It's a good question. I hadn't thought of it. Carla, you are funny for this. You finna get this $. Thank you for the super chat. Oh no, someone will spend their money how they see fit. Better take his rights quick. And listen, I just want to be careful here. I don't want to say I'm condoning him spending money in that way. And I'm also not saying that I don't think he might, have a problem or whatever. I don't know. He might have substance use issues. I really don't know. That's not my point. My point is look at the words the woman said and let's see if we can get to the bottom of what she's really trying to say. Because she's saying it on the paper. Okay. Yeah, and this is it. She doesn't have to support him. She can just do what poor people have to do. People don't have all this money to finagle the legal system. They have to figure it out the hard way, girl. You ain't helping somebody don't want help. Sorry. Get over it. Go on tour with your 23-year-old boyfriend or however old he is. Yeah, and maybe she has already paid for his house. And if she has, that was her choice. And if she don't like how he's living his life, then that shows me that sorry, skipped a line. If she don't like how he's living his life and she wants to revoke that house and stuff, I guess she has the right to do that. I really don't know. But what it's telling us is that her gifts are conditional upon her son acting in the way she wants him to act. And again, I have had loved ones struggle with substance use abuse. I have lost friends. I have lost so many loved ones. It is something that has definitely intimately affected me in my life. I do understand the pain. I do. My dad is dead because of this. But something that I knew before he ever died, something that I still know today is nothing I could have done. And the absolute bottom of the list of things that would have helped, all the way down to the bottom, it definitely wouldn't have. It would have made it much worse, is if anybody had tried to take away his choice to get better, whatever you want to call it. That would have made it worse. Then he would have been doing that shit just to spite you. I promise you he would. Maybe that's not the case for everybody, but I'm telling you about him. She's worried about this trust. Urgently needed conservatorship of only the estate, only the money. Oh my God. The filing concludes that she's been being Alima, basically. Alima Yevremovich, Takali, Mora, whatever her name is. Omar. Cher has reportedly worked tirelessly to get Elijah into treatment and get him the help he needs. Well, that's very interesting because there is a whole entire conservatorship in California called the LPS conservatorship. And that one used to be for mental health issues. Somebody who was, quote, gravely disabled and was having mental health issues. But it was, a lot of protections were put in place for people. It had to automatically expire every year. There was a lot of transparency. There was a lot of ability for the conservatee to get out of the conservators, all that. Safeguards for constitutional rights, one might say. And slowly they have eroded. Let me pull this up. Slowly, the state of California has eroded the LPS conservatorship and kind of beefed up the probate conservatorship. The probate conservatorship is the one we're talking about right now, right here. And Brittany was in one. And as we now know, it was abusive, toxic, and unconstitutional, but it was all at the time, quote, legal. It really wasn't. I don't really like when people say that because in my opinion, it never was legal and they were breaking laws the whole time and they just haven't gotten in trouble. But, what do I know? Innocent until proven guilty. She wants to get him the help he needs and all that. But didn't they just pass these care court laws that would allow you to basically force somebody into treatment? Is that what this is? Is this actually them trying to just force the man into treatment? And if it is, why are they using this instead of the LPS conservatorship? I mean, I think a reasonable answer to that is maybe they don't want him to have all these protections. And we're going to get into some other filings with this wife, that Elijah's wife, and she's made some heinous allegations against Cher. That Cher had tried to actually successfully hired people to kidnap Elijah from a hotel on their anniversary. We're going to read the documents. This is all court allegations. It's not my allegations. I was not there. I'm just reporting on what I read. Cher has come out and said that wasn't true. So we'll read it though. Cher loves Elijah immensely and has always acted with his best interests in mind, the filing states. She's not been able to discuss the preferences concerning the appointment of temporary conservator because of Elijah's current mental and physical health issues. So one of the things is you're supposed to say, like, does this person have notice that this filing is being filed against them for a conservatorship? And, you're supposed to have notice. But of course, in California, they like to carve out all these like unconstitutional, like bullshit things against people's rights. So, there's all these exceptions. Like, no, I haven't told him I'm filing for a conservatorship against him, but it's because he's on crack on Skid Row. And so I just can't. And like, basically the judge will be like, oh yeah, makes sense. Totally. Yeah. No, who needs the 14th Amendment? Who needs due process? My nose started itching. Okay. A Cher rep did not immediately respond. So there is a hearing on this temporary conservatorship, and it's January 5th, 2024. It seemingly open to the public, so if you live around there, it might be worth going and seeing if you can take some notes and stuff and be involved as a citizen in your court system peacefully and all that. With a hearing on a permanent order scheduled for March. Okay. In October, Cher broke her silence on Elijah's ordeal, opening up to People magazine about their relationship with her 47-year-old son, Elijah, after a report surfaced that she allegedly hired 4 men to forcibly remove her son from a New York City hotel room in an apparent intervention in November 2022. King, the wife, made the claim in divorce documents. We're going to read those. Regarding the allegations, Cher told People the rumor is not true, and she declined to comment further. She did, however, confirm that this is another one. This is another one that it irks, it grinds my gears. It grinds my gears. Cher said that the quote, private family matter was related to her son's addiction issues, which she has spoken openly about over the years. Okay. All right. Hold on. Hold on 1 second here. Private family matter, that means that you would keep it in the privacy of your family. Okay. So you know what's not a private family matter? An open court hearing, for example. Like a hearing that's open to the public, a taxpayer funded operation, for example, that's not a private family matter. Getting the courts, which are funded by the taxpayers involved, not a family matter, not a private family matter. People like to think, people like April Margera, people like Lima Yevremovich, people like Linda Omar, people like James Parnell Spears, they like to utilize public resources as their personal Gestapo, their personal police force, their personal judge, jury, and executioner. They believe that these public institutions belong only to them somehow. It is not. Start your screen recording right now. It is not a private family matter anymore when you involve public institutions. It is not a private family matter when you invite the public into the matter by seeking out public resources, using public servants to show up and respond to your calls, using public resources to get these ladies to come and diagnose people for Baker Acts anytime you want to snap your damn fingers. It's not a private family matter when you call 911 and a public hotel lobby, for example. So I do not consent to them changing the definition of what a private family matter is. Comment below if public records are private. And out the other side of her mouth, here she is talking about his addiction issues with People Damn Magazine, a private family matter. It's not adding up. It's just not. The woman, I mean, I don't know. Does she need a conservatorship? with logic like this. I don't know that this logic is sound enough to like actually like be able to endorse somebody being able to be a conservator, because it doesn't look to me like her brain is functional based on these arguments. But it doesn't stop the Stanley Moss Courthouse from still putting these belligerent idiots in charge of anything. I mean, just look at James Parnell Spears. The man can't even hardly talk. He had horrific issues, violence, and things with substance use himself. He had declared bankruptcy, and a judge put him in charge of Britney Spears' body, life, mind, estate, resources, schedule, visitation with her kids. That's who they let be in charge of things. So it's like, why don't y'all just let people be in charge of their own life then? If you can put these buffoons in charge of anything. This buffoon can't even use logic. I'm seeing more fallacies than anything. Then she goes on to say, I'm not suffering from any problem that millions of people in the United States aren't. Well, yeah, I would agree. So why is it that you get to be the special snowflake to engage a public resource, the force of state, to remove fundamental rights and liberties from your own child when it's something millions of people got to deal with, girl? Why are you the special snowflake? I need somebody to answer it for me. Probably ain't going to be Cher, because the girl can't logic. I don't even know if she understands what's coming. I mean, does she need a conservatorship? Because this, what she's doing right here, seems delusional. To think by her own logic that she gets to decide for somebody else what to do with their money because somebody else's money is her concern. He's gonna drain his assets. I need to listen to Cher. So I can get my Cher voice. Okay. I'm a mother. This is my job. One way or another, I try to help my children, even by removing their fundamental rights to their own shit. Try to help them. This help, they've done made this word mean all kind of crazy shit. I mean, they might as well just change it out with torture half the time. Whenever you can help them. You know who else said they helped somebody? Lima and Mark. Lima Yevrimovich and Mark Leitza, they also said they helped Amanda. They said they saved her life. The girl died in their care. So if that's saving somebody's life, don't help them no more. You see what I mean? But it's joy even with heartache mostly. When you think of your children, you just smile and you love them. Well, it seems to me you smiling and loving that money he got, girl, because that's the only thing you worried about in these court filings that we about to read. And yeah, you know what? This it sounds good, but the words and the actions don't match up. It's joy even with heartache. Like, isn't this something like a loving mother would say? Kind of like something a loving sister would say, kind of like something a loving father, Larry Rabb would say, right? It's like they're saying the right things, but the actions don't match this up at all. It's joy even with heartache, mostly when you think of your children, because you just smile and you love them and you try to be there for them. Okay, well, girl, if that's what you was doing, that would have no problem. There would be no problems. But instead of doing that, instead of just smiling and loving him and trying to be there for him, which is what you definitely should have damn did, you did the April Margera. Took it into your own hands. You did the Jamie Spears. You even took it that far. In the court documents, the wife had alleged that Cher looked like she got the same plastic surgeon with the Kris Jenner, don't she? Like the same nose that goes the same way I mean, this is like, they definitely got the same, in my opinion, face surgeon. The same little nose going to the side. It's the same in my opinion. I don't know. Anyway, the wife had alleged in the court documents we're going to read that Cher hired men to remove Elijah, whose dad is that famous rock guy, from the hotel room because they were trying to reconcile the marriage. And she was concerned for his well-being. So they were in the hotel trying to reconcile their marriage, and 4 men barge in and steal away Elijah, kidnap him. That is the allegation in the court doc. The wife, the lady who made the allegations, is known professionally as Queenie. And she claimed she spent 12 days alone with Elijah from November 18th to 30th in New York, working on their marriage at the time of the incident. In the documents, she also claimed one of the four men told her that Cher had hired them. Despite their differences, Cher maintains she will always be there for her kids. So she can have differences. Okay, so this is another thing. Remember whenever she said that his wife could not be his conservator because they've had a tumultuous marriage and it's been affected by substance abuse and mental health issues? Well, here's Cher saying it right here. Despite their differences, Cher said she will always be there for her kids. Wait a second. Do you think the differences might possibly be a tumultuous relationship marked by substance use and mental health issues? Because that is the reason why this other girl can't be the conservator. So if that's the case here, you can't either. It's your own logic, I'm saying. I mean, I don't really like the logic you're using. It's not logical, but that's your argument. So what is this despite their differences? Let's get into these court documents. She is not seeking a conservatorship of the person. No, it is only of the estate. Yep. Successful treatment requires a willing participant. Okay. Let me pull up document. Did y'all know Kat Von D was holding the umbrella for Cher at Elijah's dad's funeral a few years ago? That's kind of weird. Okay, let me get into this. Okay, so the divorce was filed for in November 2021. Let's see. Let's start here. This is from December 5th, 2022, and it's one of the filings in the divorce. I'm going to read this first because I want to set the stage, lay the groundwork, in the context for everything that was actually going on at the time the conservatorship was filed for, which was just 2 days ago. So I actually found quite a few different court cases with Elijah Allman when I was looking in the public record. One of the court cases I found was from 1999 where somebody did file to change his name. I said somebody because I don't have any info on the case. I just know that the person named in the case is Elijah Sky Blue Allman. Now, is that what the original name was and it was changed? Or was that the new name? Was his name legally something different? But it was SKYE-blue. Elijah Sky Blue Allman. So I found that to be interesting. That was 1999. I don't know how old he would have been. He's 47 today in 2023. But in 1999, he somebody named Elijah Sky Blue Allman did a name change in California. Found that interesting because the Allman Brothers, which would have been his dad's band, had a song called Sky Blue or Blue Sky. Oh, is it Sky Blue or Blue Sky? Now I need to check it. Let me check it. Is it Blue Sky or Sky Blue? Oh my God. Let me pull out my records. Okay, we got a name change here. Okay, I'm looking at the paper. I'll show it to y'all in a second. The court denied The court denied the name change. Okay, see, so that's why I said, y'all, go look the records up yourself, because I'm just kind of doing an open stream of consciousness. Okay. Elijah Sky Blue Almond. Look, see let me highlight it so y'all can see it. So at the top of the page here, you see September 27th, 1999. See Elijah, Elijah, Sky, SKYE -blue almond. And then it says judgment by court, petition denied, 11/18/1999. So I don't know. Just worth noting. Don't know what that was about. What else? Okay. So I found a few different things. Another case that I found was a civil dispute between some lawyers, or a lawyer and Elijah. And this came in July of this year. That was, this lawyer was suing him because he owed him money for legal fees. Now, the legal fees that he owed, I think, was like, $15,000 or $20,000 or something. It wasn't like that much, as far as like how much legal fees like can rack up to be for like these famous people in these cases. But I mean, it's 15, that's a lot, for the average person. And the lawyers were suing for the money. Now that was in July of this year. I found some documents relating to that. And then in October of this year, it was dismissed. It was something for voluntary dismissal. I'm assuming that somebody, probably maybe Elijah, somebody paid the legal fees, or they settled it, or came in a payment plan or something, because the case got voluntarily withdrawn or whatever. Maybe they didn't settle. Maybe the lawyer just didn't feel like fighting it or whatever. So so that was in July. And then in October, that's whenever the case gets dropped. Also in October, you have, of this year, that's like 2 months ago, you have Cher making all these comments about Britney Spears' conservatorship, and how, everybody in Vegas knew something was up and it was wrong for, Jamie to do what he did, and, basically supporting Free Britney and supporting Britney. But 2 months later, today, she's like clearly just fine with putting your kid in a conservatorship. So I don't really know what that was all about. But in October, the same month that this lawyer dropped the case voluntarily, Cher's out and about doing all this stuff. But you know what else happened in October? And here's like the big boom. Like if I had edits, I'd be putting booms all around right here and telling y'all to listen and all. What else happened in October was Gavin Newsom signed into law some stuff that made getting a mental health conservatorship in the probate court a lot easier. Would it come as a surprise to you to find out that in October, 2 months ago, Gavin Newsom signed into law to change the definition, to change the requirements to put somebody in a conservatorship, to make it easier to put somebody in the more bigger, badder conservatorship? How did he do this? He changed the definition in the law of gravely disabled to include mental health and substance abuse, severe substance abuse. 2 months before Cher files for this conservatorship. Let me pull up that. Okay. Look. Here's the official office. Here's the propaganda from, this is the press release from Gavin Newsom's office. Modernizing. This is from 2 months ago. Hello. Modernizing conservatorship law to better help and protect Californians most in need of care. What you need to know. He signed Senate Bill 43, which significantly updates California's conservatorship laws for the first time in more than 50 years. California is experiencing a serious mental illness. Y'all, seriously, hello, wake up. Californians experiencing, quote, serious mental illness or severe substance use disorder. What does the title of this What does the title of the People magazine article say? Hello. She waited until he was about to get trust fund distributions 2 months after the signing of this brand new law for the first time in 50 years. The man is 47 years old. And the People magazine, the exclusive People magazine article, the title of the article is the same verbiage of the law. Why did People magazine put the damn shit in quotes? Because they wanted you to know she actually said, quote, severe. If this isn't using the damn media to push your case, I would be 0% surprised if this whole damn thing is a lobbying op, because we've seen it before with the Free Act. The conservatorship lobby runs the whole country. One day you're going to remember I said that and be like, damn, she was right. Severe substance abuse. Severe substance. Okay. What are we reading now? We're still reading Gavin Newsom's own press release. For the first time in more than 50 years, Californians experiencing serious mental illness or severe substance use disorder and most at risk of harm to themselves can have, like it's a gift. See the propaganda? Another way to word this is can be sentenced to. Think about it. Think about the levels of education involved on people who are writing these press releases. Okay. There's not a damn accident that this is being written in a tone that makes it seem like it is a good thing to take away people's fundamental liberties, their rights to due process, bodily autonomy, privacy. Steal it. It's not a gift. Can have. It's backward. Y'all got it backwards. It would be can have if it was like, can have the government leave them the hell alone to heal and whatever in peace. Can have. You get to have. You get to have a conservator take over your life. It's so nice. They're so sweet. With continued protection of individual rights and increased transparency on data, Gavin Newsom announced Senate Bill 43 to modernize, yes, queen, modernize those conservatorship laws from probate court. You know what was also modernized? Slavery. Ooh, did y'all know that? Probate courts, where today they hear conservatorships, they used to hear slavery cases. Did you know that? Did you know the probate courts applied the same type of kind of rules from slavery to conservatorship? So conservatorships were kind of like a modernization too, when you really think about it. We got to modernize again, y'all, because Free Britney has been bad for press with the conservatorships. So we got to do something else. Updates the definition of those eligible. See, again, it's this language that's making it seem like it's something like a prize, like it's a Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes. Who's eligible? Right? Who's eligible to be sentenced to death? Who's eligible for the death penalty? Doesn't that sound weird? Eligible for conservatorship, like it's some prestigious ranks to be a member of or some shit. But he expanded it. Not updates. Not updates. Expanded. See how we can choose different words? This says the law updates the definition for those eligible. One way to word that could be the law expands the definition of gravely disabled to make more people subject to conservatorships. The law expands the definition for those eligible. The law expands the definition for those subject to a conservatorship. You see how you can say that? What's the difference? This sounds nice. This sounds cool. It updates the law to be modern, to make more people subject to having their rights reassigned to someone else. Modernizing slavery, guys. Yay! Ooh, ooh, Gavin Newsom, you're so modern. Yeah, yeah. That's what this article is doing. And here we are. Yay, conservatorships. Yay. Eligibility. Mental health, substance. That's y'all. That's y'all. That's y'all. Okay. The governor was joined by a trafficker, Susan, or whatever. And mental health advocates and clinicians. Isn't that nice? The mental health advocates advocating for what? And even this, mental health advocates. Mental health advocate could be somebody that's trying to make all of us be subject to mandatory therapy, like Lima. She calls herself a mental health advocate too, last I remember. Well, who are these mental health advocates? It's just all to make it look like it's something other than taking somebody's rights, reassigning it to somebody else, taking somebody's freedom, reassigning it to somebody else so that somebody else gets to decide. We already have a criminal justice system, y'all. If people are out here breaking laws, they should go to jail. Sorry, whatever. This shit right here is not that. This updates and modernizes the definition of slavery. Updates and modernizes the categories of people you can steal their freedom. Updates and modernizes. Yeah. Let's go. Okay. But I just wanted to point out, it is serious mental illness and severe substance use. All right. So let's get into these court documents finally. Thank you. Okay. I mean, this is kind of like where I started out with it. So Service Dog Kazana said, I think we probably need to differentiate the kinds of conservatorships. Some are probably needed. And I used to say stuff like this because like there are some cases where I could actually see people need not a conservator, like that's the thing. I can't even like really like even remember the mindset I was in at that time. But like I know where this type of comment comes from, and there's stuff that you could have in place. There's like healthcare, proxies. There's powers of attorney for very limited areas of somebody's life. There's other stuff that already is in place that doesn't involve like taking somebody's rights away. Like, I don't think that it is ever necessary to have the state step in and tell somebody's family member they're going to make better decisions for that person than them without having given notice to the person. It's like it's just such a tangled web because the very core of it is like, yeah, there's definitely some people out here in the world who need protection. They're very vulnerable. They're vulnerable members of our society. But those people are in need of protection because of something they didn't do, something that they had no control over, something they didn't have a choice in, maybe something they're born with, something that happened to them they didn't have a choice in, something like that. It's very severely developmentally delayed folks from time to time, but it's just this conservatorship crap. It's been so tainted and messed up by like rich people just wanting to control their kids' estates that it's hard to even tell the trees from the forest anymore. And it kind of just makes you want to throw the whole baby out with the bathwater. It does. Because they say stuff like help. And it's like literally the word help has come to mean something like insidious, something like torture, like kidnap. That's not help. That's not help. And so whenever they come out and say, well, some of them are needed, it's like, I haven't seen a lot needed ones, of the ones I'm looking into. Now, I am biased because I do specifically look into these big name cases, but Girl, I mean, how many people are out here living without a conservatorship on the streets doing drugs and things? And it's only these like real rich ones or the ones that you can experiment on who ends up getting pushed into it. And it's like, I know that a lot of like people get put in conservatorships, but a lot of the times it is because somebody has a financial interest. Even if it's like Medicaid or social security benefits, like get redirected to that person, or you can take the assets and sell. Like a lot of times it is financially motivated. And that is why we, as the public, we, the people, have to investigate this stuff. We have to use discernment and scrutiny, and we have to look into it. We have to look through these timelines. We have to do these 5-hour live streams or whatever. Okay. I want to make this bigger. Here we go. Okay, so this is from the divorce case. This is a request to reschedule a hearing in the divorce case. Okay, and was filed on, as you can see up here, December 5th, 2022. So this was like a year ago. She filed this. The wife, Elijah's wife. So she wants to reschedule a court hearing for the divorce case. And this is her declaration. And this is last year. I declare I'm filing this petition for a trial that's going to happen on December 8th. Okay. On April 25th, so earlier that year, a stipulation for spousal support and a contribution to my attorney fees was filed in court. She says she received $10,000 from the husband, which included some kind of like back payments for March and April. On April 27th, she receives, $10,000. No further payment was made to her until July. So basically, they agreed for a certain agreement on spousal, like alimony or whatever, right? And she says when she filed for that, court order or whatever, when they filed that together, whatever, she was owed a lot of money. She did receive $10,000. And, after that, she received one more $10,000 payment. Since then, she got one more. So there's 3 total payments she's gotten. $10,000 2 times and $5,000. Through December, I am owed, she says, 10 months of spousal support, a total of $50,000. I've received only $25,000, which is only half. Due to the sporadic and insufficient nature of these payments, I haven't been able to properly pay my lawyers and stuff like that, or conduct discovery and all that. I lost my housing and my health insurance, and I had to leave the country to stay with relatives for a while. Inconsistent support payments have made progressing in my court case very difficult, if not impossible. My husband has been receiving medical care since August 2022. So he was in a treatment facility, I think. I read somewhere that my husband has been receiving medical care since August 2022. He was in a treatment center. She said, in my husband's absence, I was asked to leave our family home by Cher. This is last year she said this stuff. I did so on the belief that my support payments would be timely and I would be able to afford housing. I was not allowed to get my belongings from our primary home and residence, nor was I given the opportunity to inventory our assets. We also have a storage unit. Okay. So just to recap, the husband and Elijah, they're living together. Or I don't know if they're living together or not, actually. I shouldn't have said that. But they have a house. August 2022, he starts treatment and becomes absent. She says she was Cher asked her to leave her own home, and she did. But she did so on the mistaken belief that she was going to be getting money to pay rent and stuff. I wasn't allowed to get my stuff from our house. I wasn't allowed to even like take an inventory of what our assets were, which is a part of a divorce proceeding. Like you have to, both people have to be allowed to have full access to the assets of the marriage so that you can take an inventory. And then when you're like rich people like this, it really matters because they have a lot of expensive stuff or whatever, I guess. And like one silly little art painting somebody gave you one time could be worth like $1 million or something, She said, we also have a storage unit that I've not been able to access. And in the storage unit, it has art, antiques, and other furniture from the second home that they had together in Beverly Hills and other stuff. So they have a storage unit that has expensive stuff in it too. As far as the items that I know are in storage, these are one of a kind art pieces, antiques, and musical instruments that need to be evaluated before we're able to set a trial date. So she wants like appraisers and stuff to come in and do evaluation of the storage unit. She says on April, so remember, this is December she's talking about this. This is the wife. In April 2022, Elijah's lawyer served disclosures and his 2018, 2019, and 2020 tax returns on my attorney. So in April 2022, Elijah's lawyer sent over some tax returns, and the tax returns were from 2018, 2019, 2020. She says the tax returns showed that Elijah had been filing as single during our marriage. This made no sense to me. My attorney repeatedly requested information about why these returns were filed single during marriage. Information never came. So, as a part of this divorce proceeding, Elijah's lawyers provide some tax returns to Marie Angela's lawyers. In the tax returns, it says he was single, and that's like a crime. Like, you can't file single if you're not actually single. Like, you file that with the IRS, with the government. So she was like, why was he filing single? We were definitely married. And the lawyers just never gave her an answer. That was April. So months go by, September 2022. My attorney was then served with a completely different set of tax returns for the years 2013 through 2020, showing he was filing separate. So in April, she got 2018, 19, and 20, and it said single. In September, she got those tax returns again, along with some other ones, and they said married separate. My attorney has sent a letter on my behalf to discuss important outstanding issues, but there has been no response. So his lawyers are ignoring her. She said, I believe Elijah's attorney has presented disclosures that are not accurate. So this is a nice way of saying, I think that his lawyer is lying to the court and committing perjury. And maybe also lying to the IRS and committing crimes or whatever. I think that's like a nice way of saying that. She says, my belief is supported by the fact he has left many assets off his disclosures and tried to pass off false tax returns as the ones that he filed with the IRS until he was confronted several times. And she's talking about the attorney. She didn't say, I believe petitioner. I believe petitioner's attorney has presented false stuff. My belief is supported by the fact that he left many assets off his disclosures and tried to pass off false tax returns as the ones filed with the IRS. Mr. Scalan, that's the attorney. That's not her husband, soon to be ex or nothing. No, that's his attorney. The attorney then presented a whole different set of returns. Elijah seems to have been minimally involved in the disclosure process, if at all. So this is where my antenna kind of started to like go off, my little red flag meter here. Because if you're getting a divorce from somebody, and for your information, for the record, Elijah is the one who filed for this divorce. Cher's son filed for the divorce. So I'm just wondering, like, is this like some type of Shelly Miscavige situation? I mean, you know, I don't know, like, where's this guy? It's kind of like, where's Dahlia Takali? You know, there's all these court filings being filed on her behalf, but I mean, I haven't seen her. Where's Dia even? Because Lima's talking about her sisters they were identical twins. So I mean, like, where is even Elijah? Where even is he? Because he was in treatment. He was absent. This lady's getting kicked out of her own house. Now they're keeping her out of her. Like, you see what I mean? Elijah seems to have been minimally involved in the process, if at all. I do not believe he is aware of what is being served on his behalf. So she's kind of making it clear. I'm not even talking about him. Don't put him in trouble. It's this other man, his lawyer. She says, it is imperative that discovery is complete and our property is valued before we can even go to trial. I request a continuance until after March of the next year. which is when the husband will have finished his treatment plan. So he was going to be in treatment plan from August to March, August 22 to March 23, August, 7-month treatment plan. Which is when he will have finished his treatment plan. And so the attorney can complete discovery and have the property valued. This is protracted by the sporadic and insufficient support payments. So she's saying, look, I'm relying on these payments. I'm relying on this money. And there's already literally a court stipulation. Like I'm not getting paid my money and I can't even pay my lawyers. How am I going to go to trial with no money? They already settled that she's owed money or whatever. She said, Elijah and I recently spent 12 days alone together from November 18th to November 30th, working on our marriage. Given the proper time, I believe that we will reconcile. So she's saying, I don't even want a divorce. After spending these 12 days together in New York, on November 30th, 2022, so this is like last year, the night of our wedding anniversary, 4 people came into our hotel room and removed Elijah from the room. I'm currently unaware of my husband's well-being or whereabouts. What? On November 30th, 4 men came in and took the husband away, and currently she's unaware of his whereabouts. But she is saying that he's in a treatment plan when the husband will have finished the treatment plan. So he's in some type of treatment plan. Some men came and took him away, and she's unaware of his well-being or whereabouts. I am very concerned and worried about him. I was told by one of the 4 men who took him that they were hired by Cher. Since August 2022, I've been told that I am not allowed to see or speak to her husband, who is currently in lockdown at a treatment facility undisclosed to me. I'm also told petitioner has no access to his phone. Who does that sound like? Who else was in lockdown at this exact same time with no access to his phone? Bam. The same exact time. Same exact time. No access to the phone. I understand his family's efforts to make sure he is well, and I do want what's best for my husband. I declare that under the state of California laws or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Right. Now, here's a letter that's attached from this lawyer that is at issue. To the lawyer. So this is from the wife's lawyer to Jeffrey, to Elijah's lawyer. Please find the preliminary disclosures attached to this letter. There are more important issues that need to be addressed. Spousal support, haven't received, unacceptable, contempt of court, housing. She vacated the marital home, but she can't afford rent. Health care. She has outstanding bills with doctors. She'll have to cancel an important surgery. She sees somebody, she can't afford her medication. Look at this. There's significant property in storage. So this is one of the things that might be, owned by the estate that might be at issue, might be what Cher's so worried about. There's significant property in storage and in the Malibu house that needs to be evaluated. Specifically, there are antiques and works of art acquired by the community, including the Sexy Suite, a series of 4 Michael Jackson art pieces that were in the party's bedroom and removed without my client's knowledge. So they took her stuff out of her bedroom. And this is starting to sound like, do y'all remember the Courtney Cobain situation where actually I don't know if she had much to do with it. It was Sam Lutfi was like accused of trying to kidnap Courtney Love Cobain's like ex-husband. And it was over like a guitar, like one of Kurt Cobain's old guitars or something. Y'all remember that? It was like they had said he was trying to like kill him. Like he had accused them of like showing up at his house, 4 men, taking him in a van, closing the door and heading out of the neighborhood. Somebody was able to call the cops and the cops stopped him before they got out of the neighborhood. That's what it says in the court filings. But it's reminding me kind of this like 4 men showed up and took him away thing. And we also know that Stephen B. Timmer, who worked to do this to Bam, he worked for like Heather Hayes, who's like all linked in with Dr. Phil. I mean, the web is like really, it's webbing, if you know what I mean. Okay, so let me read y'all another court document, and then I think there's only one more, and then we'll get to the conservatorship filing, and then I think we'll be done. Okay. So then they substitute the attorney in the divorce case. I'm not going to pull the document up, but let me see. Elijah got a new lawyer. So they assigned a new lawyer. So that Scallan guy, he was kind of taking too much heat, so they assigned someone else. Okay. That happened in April of this year. Welcome to oh my gosh, who gave 20 Oh my God, that is so funny. I missed that. Hold on. Thank you, Vincent. Look at the if y'all got a gift from Veritas Vincent, then y'all need to say thank you. Thank you for the 20 gifted memberships. That's so cool. Okay. It is like what Paris went through, but for grown-ups. It's true. Okay. So remember in October whenever Gavin Newsom signed that law into law, and also Cher was going on the press run about Britney Spears conservatorship and talking about how you would do anything for your kids and all that. October 2023 this year. Well, guess what else happened October 2023? Marie Angela, she submitted another declaration. So let's read that one. Literally the same day? No. This the same day? No. Okay. Woo. All right. Okay. So that extra clip was
I
shared.
don't think it was right what her father did.
Now freed.
That aired on October 20th this year, 2023. 5 days later, this is filed in court in the divorce case. Okay, what does it say? I'm filing this declaration to advance a conference date in the case. Since the last conference that we had April this year, Elijah and I came to an agreement regarding our marital status. We agreed on a 6-month stay in discovery and litigation in order to work on our marriage. Okay, you see this? This was just filed. October 25th. No, sorry. October 25th. October 25th, 2023. She submits in the divorce case. We have decided to work on our marriage. And so as a result, we want to work on our marriage. We want to stop this court proceeding for 6 months. We've come to an agreement, she says. Shortly after the hearing, Elijah disappeared. I have not seen him in person since the end of April, which is almost exactly 6 months ago. Unfortunately, he did not follow through with his promise, and it seems like he has wasted my time and this court's time. In February, he paid $30,000 for spousal support through February 2023, and he also lived with me in April of this year. I spent $15,000 supporting him during this time. I have not been reimbursed for these expenditures. He has not made any spouse support payments since then, and now is $40,000. He owes me $40,000. As a result of his lack of effort in working out the marriage, I'll be requesting the court order him to pay spousal support, stay current on the support, and pay attorney's fees. I'm requesting that he returns my car or our car. He promised I would keep the car and could continue driving it. I've used the car every day for transportation in the past. I also request that all my belongings and documents inside the car be returned to me. It was brought to my attention that the car and all the items are located at Cher's house in Malibu. And she said, and I no longer have access to the house. I'm also seeking the court's help in accessing that storage unit that she told him about like a year ago or whatever. It had my personal belongings, furniture, and clothing. Cher is also in possession of the deed for our pieces of artwork of Michael Jackson's called Sexy Sweet that was admittedly removed from my home by Cher while I performed at a benefit in New York in 2021. These items are also at Cher's house. So she's saying Cher has the deed for my valuable items. And she's admitted that she took them out of my house. She's like, has all his crap. She don't, Cher has all the stuff. The wife don't even know where the husband is. He's MIA. Last year, she's filing in court documents that she's worried and concerned that he's not even involved in the court proceedings. She's worried and concerned for him. And now we have, Cher being accused not only of kidnapping, arranging for the kidnap of her own son, but also being in possession of some highly, highly collectible valuables that don't actually belong to her. I mean, that's the accusation. I don't know. I wasn't there. She allegedly removed them. This isn't a court filing right here. Look, it's signed. Penalty of perjury, girl. I mean, I'm just reading the public record. She's saying it was admittedly removed from her home while she performed at a 911 benefit in New York. These items are also at Cher's home in Malibu. Requesting more time to conduct discovery on the bank accounts because I think they have moved money out of the accounts without he's moved money. Also want to conduct discovery on his health records because Cher, look at this part. Cher continues to interfere with his health management as well as his location and accessibility. So this is another kind of like piece of evidence or just like a example of how the full force of the state has been used now to control people, control their relationships, control their diet, their location, control where they live, where they go, what they do, and who they can associate with. Most of those things are fundamental rights afforded and confirmed and affirmed, by the United States Constitution. And so it's like, look, I want to see his health records because health records are a proxy for being able to actually see him. This is just conservatorship abuse before it even happens. Cher probably going around saying, I'm Cher and I'm a good mom and I love my son. And meanwhile, she's like got all his valuables that like, I don't know, like where is he? That's my question. I don't even want to make any assumptions. I just want to hear it from him. Where is he? Where is Elijah Blue Sky Allman? Where? Get down. Okay. Now let's get to the conservatorship documents. The moment you've been waiting for, an hour and 28 minutes in. Okay. But then we'll be done. My throat's also kind of starting to hurt. Seriously, crust in the wigs. Crust. Okay. Oh, is that someone's name? Reading some of y'all's comments. Okay. Out the gate. Out the gate so y'all know what we're dealing with here. Let's look at this document. All right. Oh, Lord. Yes. Okay. So one thing I'm finding very interesting is I've had like this gut feeling, this instinct for a couple years that a lot more stuff is related and connected than might be immediately apparent on the surface. And I've had this like feeling that a lot of these high profile celebrity conservatorships are just kind of being like orchestrated by the same small group of people. And it ties into the entertainment industry, Hollywood, but like the music industry especially, because that's where the royalty rights are really like accumulating. Like, yeah, you get royalties from people watching a movie or whatever, but like the publishing rights to a song, that is something that there have to be very highly specialized attorneys, lawyers, people who are smart and understand the law have to be writing this stuff, agreeing on this stuff, outmaneuvering each other. And it's like in perpetuity. Like if somebody's estate owned, if Elvis's estate owns something, from that long ago, like it still owns it today. And so whoever is receiving distributions, dividend, whatever from the trust, from the estate, it's like ongoing forever. So there's a lot of money at stake, and it's a long-term investment if you own any of these publishing rights. So I've kind of suspected for a while it's kind of like a cabal, like a gang, I don't know, it's just a suspicion. And when I've like expressed that suspicion in the past, people have agreed. And some people have said, that's just like legitimate. Like that's literally the definition of a conspiracy theory. Like you're just speculating with no evidence that people are conspiring to commit a crime. Like you're delusional, you're crazy, you're a conspiracy theorist. And like, I've dabbled and dealt with that word. And I don't really care if people call me a conspiracy. Yes, I am. Where's my tinfoil hat? But in Britney Spears' case, the judge for a long time, when the conservatorship was terminated, the judge on the case was Brenda Penny. Now, her son is a Hollywood showrunner, and she's very connected to Hollywood through her son. And Brenda Penny was on the case for like 9 years, 10 years, 15 years, on a long time. Like 9 years, I think. I don't know why 9 is in my mind. So Brenda Penny was the judge in Britney's case for a substantial part of the conservatorship. And Brenda Penny is the one who signed this document we're looking at. Okay, what is the document? It's called Order Appointing Counsel. So what we're seeing here, in my opinion, is a deprivation of a constitutionally protected right. And that is the Sixth Amendment right to hire your own attorney. Not only is it a right to hire your own attorney, you also have a right to due process. Due process requires notice, time to prepare. This is a deprivation of that, in my opinion. You should absolutely be allowed to go and hire an attorney to protect yourself before your mother tries to take away your inheritance from your daddy. Duh. It's enshrined in the Constitution. Okay. So what is she signing? The court, on its own motion, appoints John Guy to act as counsel for Elijah Sky Blue Allman. Attorney's fees will be determined by the court. Who's going to pay these attorney's fees? The estate that they're fighting over. Remember how what's her name, Cher, just told us she's concerned he shouldn't have access. She said, and I quote, let me pull it up because I don't want to misquote nobody, please. Hold on. I'm looking up that article we were looking at. Okay. Quote. The document states that although Elijah is due to receive assets from trust before the end of the year, which is right now, a conservator is urgently needed to protect his property from loss or injury. Okay, why? Because he is currently unable to manage his assets due to severe mental health and substance abuse issues. Also states that his estranged wife, Mary Angela King, is not fit to be his conservator because they're tumultuous related. Okay. Conservator is urgently needed to protect his property from loss or injury. So that's the fund that's going to be paying this lawyer for this document we're looking at right here, John Guy. See, they're already so worried about. Oh, sorry. Hold on. I got the wrong thing pulled up. This document right here, attorney fees, if any, will be determined by the court. Brenda Penny? Pursuant to Los Angeles County Superior Court rules, court-appointed counsel will be awarded compensation at reduced hourly rates. By accepting this appointment, the attorney agrees that on cases in which the court has determined that the adult client has no ability to pay. Okay, so it's like a lottery system or whatever. So this would be the Sam Ingham of this case. Remember that attorney that represented Brittany against her will? See, she had tried to hire an attorney early on, and the court, this same exact courthouse, determined no, you don't get to hire your own attorney because you're too mentally ill. You're too mentally unstable. Talk about a mental health stigma when you no longer have your Sixth Amendment rights. How about that stigma? How about that stigma? Mental health stigma. Speaking of. Okay. No ability to. Okay. So this guy, John Guy, has been appointed to represent Elijah with Elijah's money. Elijah's seemingly nowhere to be found in any of these decisions or any of this. So let's look at the next document in the conservatorship that I have. Okay, what's this? We have an order appointing him. Brenda Penny signed that too, so let me pull that up. What we're looking at here is actually an order, and it was on the very day that they applied for the conservatorship. I mean, they move fast. I tell you one thing, whenever I was trying to get into the Stanley Moss Courthouse and defend my own First Amendment rights, it took a real long time for them to, the other side to finagle around. But here, you can get a lawyer the same day you apply for a conservatorship if you're Cher, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I need to be Cher. I shouldn't complain too much, though, because the judge in my case did make the right decision. He did. Finally, when it got to that judge, he did make the right decision. He made the correct decision, so I can't complain too much. It's like hit or miss over there at Stanley Moss. But look who signed it. Brenda Penny, just 3 days ago. So anybody saying Brenda Penny done retired, they lied. That's not true. They're mistaken, I should say, rather. So they're appointing that guy. All right, what else? Here's a petition for the temporary conservator appointment. So let me pull that up. How long did it take me to get to this part? An hour and a half? Yes, Wim, thank you for the gifted membership. I did. I got the email earlier. Thank you so much. Love that. Love that. I don't know what Cher's estate has to do with anything, Billy, because we're definitely talking about Greg Allman's estate and also talking about Elijah Sky Blue's estate. So Cher's estate has nothing to do with this shit. No idea why you're bringing that up. Okay. The literal gates of hell. No, it's like literally the gates. There's a portal to hell. It is. It is. Okay. Okay. Here's the petition. Filed by a woman by the name of Gabrielle Vidal at Loeb and Loeb. Does that sound familiar to you? Well, it should, because Loeb and Loeb was also hired in the Britney Spears case. And not just her, not just them, her specifically Gabrielle Vidal. Now, Brittany the Stan did put together a good thread on this, which we can read after this. So that'll be the thing we wrap up with is the Brittany the Stan thread. But this is the literally same players. We have Brenda Penny signing for Gabrielle Vidal at Loeb and Loeb to take over this man's estate. And we had Brenda Penny signing for Gabrielle Vidal at Loeb and Loeb to help Sam Ingham, which is like the John Guy of this case, in the Britney case. Okay. Just thought that was interesting to note. Okay. So what are we looking at? We are looking at a petition filed by Cher. So this is who's representing Cher. Loeb and Loeb is representing Cher, but Loeb and Loeb and Gabrielle Vidal were helping Sam Ingham to go against Britney in the last case. No, sorry. Technically, they were supposedly allegedly working for her, but Britney in her book and elsewhere has come out and said the man never helped her. He did nothing except collect millions of dollars out of her estate, which is going to happen here too, in my opinion. Okay. Gabrielle Vidal, she files for Cher, petition for appointment of a temporary conservator of the estate. And now they can do that. Why? Because just 2 months ago, Gavin Newsom signed a law into place that's going to allow mental health and substance use issues to be a reason for a probate conservatorship. Do y'all see how that all looped back in together? Isn't that cute? Just in time for this. Almost like Cher waited until that was in place to file this for this conservatorship so she could get the more aggressive conservatorship. It's almost like that. Almost. Okay. She's only filing for conservator of the estate. Petitioner Cher. No last name. I mean, that's fucking weird. Put your damn last name, stupid. Okay. Why do I have to have my last name? Can't I have that surprise witness in my next court filing? Thank you. BJ investigates. Why Cher don't have to put her full name out here when everybody else does when we use the public resources? Okay. They're petitioning for Cher to be appointed the conservator of the oh, look. They did say person. Petitioner requests that she be appointed temporary conservator of the person. So is it the person or the estate? Look again. I mean, is it sloppy? Are they stupid? Or is it on purpose? Do you see what I'm saying? This ain't a conspiracy theory. Follow along. Follow along. Petition for appointment of temporary conservator of estate. You see that? But look at this. Petitioner, Cher, requests that she be appointed temporary conservator of the person. So which one is it, girl? You want estate or person? I mean, I think legally speaking, I don't know. I'm not really an expert, although probably could be if I applied to be. I think it's just this has to count as a conservator of the person petition, but I mean, excuse me. This has to count as a conservator of the estate petition because look, she could have said person and estate. It says Cher requests that she be appointed person, temporary conservator of the person, but this says estate. It don't match up. She could have said person and estate. She said estate only. She chose to say only estate. So why does it say person right here? Stupid. All right. Anyway. So there's a $132,000 bond. Okay, so this is telling us that he's due to receive $120,000 a year approximately. Okay. So this number 5 is the character and the estimated value of the property of the estate. Personal property, they're saying that his personal estate is worth nothing, which I find hard to believe because what did we just now read in that lady's court filings in the wife? She said, there's nothing that we own, like the stuff that's in those asset lists, like there's a lot of stuff left out. And then she goes on to specifically enumerate these 4 paintings from a Michael Jackson collection or something. And they have a deed and all this stuff. Like that's got to be worth something. It's definitely worth more than $0, right? And so they're saying he doesn't have any personal property, none. So it seems like either Cher has already said that she only owns that or they not planning on telling the court about it. But I mean, it is very difficult for me to believe his personal estate will be worth nothing because even guitars and stuff that he even personally owns, instruments and things he even personally owns would be worth something. So this is kind of sloppy for Loeb and Loeb to have not valued his personal property before filing for this conservatorship. But I mean, they are in a hurry because they only had 2 months between when the law was put into place and whenever they were going to file for this conservatorship because he was about to start receiving money from the trust. He was due to. So why didn't they value any of his personal property? That's alarming to say the least, especially from this crew. Brenda Penny signed off on. And $120,000 a year. Could this be a lie? Yes, because they clearly are not doing it a good job. They're not doing good. It's not looking like a wow. Sorry. Maybe $120,000 is a lot of money. But that might be what he, the dad had said to distribute from the trust funds. Okay. Per year. So that's the value of the estate. They've neglected to value his personal property. Okay. All right. And listen, this isn't nitpicking. Let me just tell y'all why this is important. A conservator of the estate is supposed to be responsible for, for transparency to the court. And if somebody, like a famous celebrity, like Britney Spears, for example, goes into a conservatorship and has like 15 luxury foreign cars, those are worth a substantial amount of money. What's to stop some conservator from just selling that car? There's no inventory list of the car to the court. So what's to stop the person from just selling all the assets? You have to account for the assets. You have to account for the personal property. And this is another way that these people want to pick and choose to use this legal system as their personal mafia, as their personal score settler without actually fully disclosing what they're required to. It actually really pisses me off that everybody damn else on the face of the earth has to put their full government issued name in a court filing, and Cher gets to just say Cher because she's famous. Yeah, it's cool, cute. If you want to do your legal contracts like that, that's fine. But when you're filing for a conservatorship and you're about to air out all your son's money, finances, problems, and all that across the media to People Magazine and every goddamn where else, you need to put your full, say it with your chest, bitch. Say it with your full chest. Worried about somebody else's money. Need to be worried about your own self, by the looks of that crooked nose job. All the money, more money than God, and can't get a straight nose job. Please. Don't make fun of her appearance. Her appearance was fine before the botched nose job. That was a choice. That was a choice. So they neglect to value his property. So it could be stolen or sold off, and the court would not know. But I would venture to wager the court doesn't give a shit. Brenda Penny don't care. She might even actually, it's starting to look like, be actually benefiting from some of this stuff, just how brazen it really is. I shouldn't make any judgments yet. Maybe the conservatorship will be denied. Let's see. Petitioner's contact with people named in the petition for appointment of probate conservator. Petitioner is not the proposed conservatee. Well, no shit. It's not going to be very often where somebody's going to petition to put their own self in a conservatorship, girl. That it has happened. All persons other than the proposed conservatee have been found and contacted and given notice. What in the hell are we talking? Why do I give a shit about the people who aren't the conservatee? Nobody's giving him notice? Well, I bet you he got notice now. I bet you he's been, well, maybe not. Because it sounds like he's being isolated. He doesn't have access to his phone, according to his wife. Facts showing the preferences of the prisoner, the person being held hostage. It was not feasible to ascertain his preferences. Why? It wasn't feasible for them to contact this man and so much as ask him who he wants to be his conservator. That's what this says. Facts showing his preferences concerning his potential conservator who will be in charge of aspects of his fundamental liberties in his life, and namely his father's inheritance to him. We didn't bother to tell him. And we're not going to tell the public why we didn't bother to. We're going to file that separately and privately, but he don't know. No, this is not how this should go. I'm not a fan. Okay. Gabrielle and Cher with her no last name. This makes me want to run a damn background check, I swear to God. Look at this. Attachment to petition for appointment of temporary conservator. Cher seeks a court order appointing her as conservator of the estate of her son and granting her the power of the following. She, oh my God, received distributions owed to him from the G.A. Robbins Descendants Irrevocable Trust, establish a bank account that she's in charge of in the name of the conservatorship estate on behalf of him, at a financial institution of her choosing. So it's going to be one of these people in the club, probably that freaking clown that was in charge of Britney's, still in charge of Britney's, who wore a clown outfit for her professional headshot. And deposit all distributions received from the trust into this account that she is in charge of at her institution of choice. Okay. What else does she want? In an effort to maintain Elijah's privacy from everyone else except me, because I want to be in charge of my adult son's life like a creep who cannot let her son grow up, who wants him to stay in Neverland. To maintain, let me read it in this voice. In an effort to maintain Elijah's privacy, his address is provided in the concurrently submitted confidential supplemental information. Okay. Lima help you write this, Cher? As a temporary conservator of Elijah's estate is necessary to protect his property from loss. Urgently needed. By tomorrow. It's not going to happen by tomorrow, I don't think, y'all. I don't think. Urgently needed to protect his property from loss or injury. Y'all see, they told on themselves. It's not to protect Elijah. It's not because you'll do anything to protect your child. That's a load of shit. It's horse shit. Horse shit. You'll do anything to protect your family. That's not what the fuck you said in this filing, stupid. Talking to People magazine out of this side of her mouth and talking to the court out the other. Because this says a conservator of his estate is needed to protect his property. This isn't, you would do anything to protect your son. The property ain't the son, bitch. The property equal sign slash through it, the son. You would do anything to protect your son. That's not what you said in a court filing. You said urgently needed to protect his property. And that's the problem with these weird moms like April Margera and this weirdo. They think their kids are their property. They think the property of their kids is their property. It's not. It's not. You divorced that man, stupid. Y'all got a divorce, girlfriend. This is his daddy's inheritance to him. It's got not shit to do with you. Mind your business, bitch. In the words of Britney Spears. And it's needed by the date that he's going to get money. He's currently unable to manage his assets, but somehow, some way, he sure is living and breathing still. He's entitled to regular distributions from the trust. Given his ongoing mental health and substance abuse issues, again, brand new law just now allowed her 2 months ago to even make this type of request. Brand new. Concerned that any funds distributed to him will be immediately spent on drugs, leaving him with no assets to provide for himself and putting his life at risk. The trustee of the trust is currently holding a distribution owed to him. Hello. She's telling on herself. Critically. The trustee is improperly holding his money from him that is required under the terms to be distributed to him no later than December 31st. Well, isn't it interesting that this has all been leading up, all this Cher coming into the limelight to get Britney fans on her side, maybe 2 months ago? Yes, Cher, free Britney, yes. This must not be like that. Yes, it is, bitch. Yes, it is, girl. It's all propaganda. It's not a coincidence. The title, the headline of the People magazine article has quotes that exactly mirror the law that was just passed 2 months ago that allowed Cher to try and even do this. It's preposterous and it's transparent AF. Critically, the trustee is holding money from Elijah that he has to give to him on December 31st. Well, guess what? That trustee is probably going to go, the banks were closed on December 31st. It was New Year's Eve. That's going to push us to the New Year's next day, New Year's Day. The banks were closed. What do you want me to do? It's New Year's Eve. So he's required to give him this money, the trustee, she or he. And they're going to be able to trickle out. See how the cards in the timeline just lines up perfectly? Just as soon as he was about to get this. Due to his struggles with severe, make sure you put that word in there for the statute. I'm sure some lawyer said. Detailed in the concurrently filed confidential. So there's a confidential statement file we don't have access to. Currently unable to manage his finances. Distribution of funds directly to him would not be in his best interest because we know how to spend his money better than him. And that involves forced treatment against his will. The trust expressly authorizes the trustee to pay required distributions to a conservator if one has been appointed. So the conservator will just be able to take the trust assets. Why do people, y'all remember the beginning of the video? Why do people write trusts? To keep the assets out of probate. Here we are, allowing the assets into probate. Wonderful. A temporary conservator of his estate is needed urgently so they can receive distributions. Oh, that'll be Cher. Isn't that cute? A temporary conservator is urgently needed so Cher can receive distributions from the trust in the account that she establishes. Why does Cher need to be receiving this money? This is not this person's only assets. There's other assets. So why does Cher care about these ones? It's her ex-husband. They weren't even married. She's been having it on her mind probably her whole marriage, her whole life. Oh, I'm going to get mine. I'm going to get mine. Here it is. Here it is. She's going to get hers because Brenda Penny's on the case. I've never seen anything more corrupt than that. Then she had her son running PR on Twitter, coming out and calling anybody that criticized Brenda Penny a racist. Literally a human trafficker. If we criticize human trafficking because it's being done by somebody different, racist. That's what her son was trying to make people think. The showrunner for whatever, Insecure or whatever, he's the showrunner for that. That's the judge on this case right now. Additional facts and details are hidden from the public. We hid them because we want to make a public issue a private family matter. And then they go on to kind of say the wife shouldn't be the conservator. They're in the midst of dissolution proceedings, but we actually did the diligence here and went and looked for those dissolution proceedings. And what did they say? They're reconciling. They're working on their marriage. They have actually put a stay on discovery. There's no discovery happening and stuff. So they're not in the midst of a dissolution. There's a stay. I guess we can lie in court. I don't know. I mean, I guess this is something they're used to doing. It would be unsafe for his estate because Cher thinks that the girl would spend all the money. I mean, I don't know that that's necessarily true. Cher hasn't bothered to discuss with her son who he would actually like the conservator to be, because that's one way that we could sort this out, right? Bring Elijah in and say, hey, Elijah, we're definitely putting you in a conservatorship, but we want to consider your preference. Do you want your mom to be your conservator? Or do you want your wife to be your conservator? Well, Cher's saying, I didn't bother asking him about who he would rather. Why? Because he's in treatment. And we're not going to tell any of the public why, even though we want the public funds to support our infringement upon his rights. Cher doesn't even know if Elijah's going to be at the hearing. Who is holding this man hostage from his own conservatorship hearing? It's not the state, because if it were, it would already be a conservatorship, right? There's no conservatorship. Who is holding Elijah Blue Sky Allman hostage? She doesn't know. She wants to be the conservator of the estate, and she doesn't know if he's going to be at the hearing. I'm pretty sure no matter how messed up on drugs you are, if you're fighting for your inheritance from your father, you might bother to show up. She hasn't even discussed it with him. Unable to discuss his preferences on who he wants to be in control of his $120,000 a year at minimum. What? This doesn't make sense. This is weird. Cher wants to be in control of his life. His assets. But she doesn't even know who he wants in charge of his. Why didn't she just say, we talked about it, he wants me to be the conservator? Huh? Well, maybe they're in arguments because he's on drugs. Maybe. But that was the reason that Cher said that the wife couldn't be the conservator. So if she's in the same position, she also can't by her own logic. It's preposterous. Petitioner will serve Elijah with a copy of the petition and notice of hearing as required under probate code section. Well, I'm going to go look and see if that notice has been served because I don't remember seeing it. And we have one more document. Let me see. Oh, this is a good point, Mia. Plastic surgery is a choice, just like drugs. So maybe we need a conservatorship over Cher. I mean, she's also dating someone like, she's clearly like in a end of life crisis. Her boyfriend is 37 years old, 10 years younger than her son she's trying to conserve, and she's 77. She's 40 years older than her boyfriend. She needs a conservatorship because she's making choices I wouldn't make. Her life is at risk. See how easy that is? If I can get Gabriella Vidal on board, and we probably can get one over her. Period. If she was concerned about her son dying, why not do this years ago? We know why, girl. We know exactly why. Because that law just got passed in October. Signed into law in October, allowing for people to take over people's lives and money if they have substance use issues. As long as you put it in quotes and say it's severe. Y'all like how that worked out? Just like that. And here y'all were. Free Britney. Yes. Oh, we're at the hearing. We're at the signing. That's why I didn't go to that shit. And I try to tell y'all, look, what's to stop your mama? What's to stop your dad from going and saying, look, my daughter's marrying somebody I don't like. She's doing stuff I wouldn't. I'm going to call her severely mentally ill. I'm going to get men to kidnap her, and I'm going to get the assets deposited in an account that I own. What's to stop them? Severe mental health? That doesn't even mean anything. What's the damn definition of that even? Please. Please. I think she has severe mental health issues for thinking that it is anyway appropriate in any way to take over her son's inheritance payments. I think she has severe mental health issues. See how easy that is? But BJ, you're not a doctor. Neither is Cher. No last name. Last time I checked. But here she is talking about severe mental health issues. Who gives a shit if he's mismanaging his finances? If he wants to spend it on bouncy houses, let it fly. And if he wants to spend it on stuff that's illegal, let the justice system step in. Part of these people's problem is they never face consequences for their actions like the rest of the normal people have to do. Us lowly peasants down here in the ranks, we don't get to have all these extra chances. You might get hauled out to jail for getting pulled over for inspection sticker. Who even knows? Who even knows? We don't get the luxury and the opportunity to do all this. So when we spend all our money, when somebody in our family has a gambling addiction, a drug addiction, addiction to blank workers, or only, you know what? They just have to lose all their money and face the consequences and go bankrupt. Okay. But when it's rich people, they don't have to face consequences. If the man is buying drugs and committing crimes and doing the drugs and doing the crimes, innocent until proven guilty, he can go get arrested and go to jail. That's what we have a criminal justice system for. You can't take over somebody's money because you don't like how they spending it, stupid. And this whole thing with Britney and Free Britney and all, it's really normalized it. Since 2008, when that conservatorship was put into place, all these parents' wheels have been turning. Cher said it herself. We all knew what was going on down on that Las Vegas strip. Yes, we did. She neglected to mention why she didn't do shit about it, why she didn't say nothing about it. When your child needs help, you got to step in. That's what she said. She told on herself. Let me, with the knowledge you have now, let you watch that clip one more time.
From her 13 years.
I don't think it was right what her father did.
Now freed from her 13-year conservatorship, Britney is telling her story. And this music legend is candidly sharing her feelings about Britney's time under her dad's control.
Candidly sharing her feelings. Let's hear what they really are. Let's see what she's really saying.
It seemed to serve him, no matter what the help that she needed.
She was about to say it seemed to serve him more than her. But she already knew in her mind, this is the same month that Gavin Newsom put that bill into law. 2 months before Cher knew she had to make all these moves, before right now, whenever Elijah is owed his money. She's sitting over here talking about,
Britney is telling her story, and this music legend is candidly sharing her feelings about Britney's time under her dad's control.
It seemed to serve him.
she realizes, oops, this is going to be true about me in 2 months. Plot twist, sentence change, redirect.
Seemed to serve him. You know, no matter what
Couldn't finish her thought. No matter what the help she needed. And she needed it because I hear things. Yeah. Like things that you hear, could it possibly be like how to put your kid in a conservatorship and then using the exact same team that was all infiltrated up into Britney's case? Could it have been that what you were hearing?
help that she needed and needs, if she's still needing it, I hear things. No matter what, you just don't.
You would think she was going to say, you just don't do that. You don't take away their freedoms and take away their choices. If you just watch this, especially 2 months ago, you're like, hell yeah, Cher's like a free Britney. But when you actually listen to what the bitch is actually saying, she's not disagreeing. She keeps almost saying stuff and realizing she can't say that because that she would be saying it about herself. One more time.
About Britney's time under her dad's control.
It seemed to serve him. You know, no matter what the help that she needed and needs, if she's still needing it, I hear things. No matter what, you just don't. You love your children, and sometimes you have to step in.
What? No matter what, you just don't. You love your children, and sometimes you have to step in. She just said literally nothing. 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 She didn't say anything. What did she say?
Candidly sharing her feelings about Britney's time under her dad's control.
It seemed to serve him. You know, no matter what the help that she needed. And
it seemed to serve him more than it served her. Yes. Yes. So why didn't you finish that sentence? Cher, no last name. No matter the help that she needs, and she needs help. I hear things. Gaslighting, saying Britney Spears needs, quote, help. Well, the help that you're trying to put on your son is you taking over his damn estate. So what? She was going to say, you just don't do that. But she was just now about to do it. She couldn't even get the words out.
Is candidly sharing her feelings about Britney's time under her dad's control.
It seemed to serve him. You know, no matter what the help that she needed and needs, if she's still needing it, I hear things. No matter what, you just.
No matter what? You take over only their estate? Because that was you 2 months later. No matter what, and she can't even say you just don't do that because she knows in her heart of hearts that is true. You just don't do that. But here you are 2 months later, girl. I mean, I don't know.
No matter what, you just don't. You love your children, and sometimes you have to step in. I didn't like it, so I wanted to.
Cher's Armenian? Great. Okay.
Sometimes you have to step in.
Sometimes you have to step in. She was already getting her PR ready. Because look, everything she said in this, it allowed her to do two things. Allowed her to appear supportive of Britney, which would 2 months down the line help her in her propaganda campaign. Because everybody knows when you're about to put a celebrity in a conservatorship, you're going to deal with the Free Britney crowd, period. The ones of us remaining. If you're about to put a celebrity in a conservatorship, there will be transparency and accountability. Yes, there will. And they all want to distinguish it from Britney's case. It's not like Britney because, right? So here's her getting her, it's not like Britney because out of the way.
She needed and needs, if she's still needing it, I hear things. No matter what, you just don't. You love your children, and sometimes you have to step in. I didn't like.
No matter what, you love your children, and sometimes you have to step in. So she got the check box, condemn Jamie Spears, appear to support Britney, get her own name in the spotlight while Britney's book was trending, and differentiate herself from Jamie. She also is still saying sometimes you have to step in. So technically, she didn't lie.
like it. So I wanted to let her know that I was watching and I was listening. When we were
Watching, listening, and doing nothing. Watching, listening, and learning from the best in the business how to control your child who's an adult through the use of the state at the Stanley Moss Courthouse. That's one way it could be taken because it's just so damn ambiguous.
let her know that I was watching and I was listening. When we were in Las Vegas, everybody
When you think of it that way, it's like, how ominous. I wanted to let her know I was watching and I was listening. I didn't do nothing. I had a Vegas residency going on at the exact same time as her. I did nothing to help her. And I was watching and listening, and I knew what was going on. I did nothing. That's kind of like rubbing it in her face and was shut up. Keep it to yourself even.
know that I was watching and I was listening. When we were in Las Vegas, everybody on the Strip knew. We just didn't know how deep it was, but we knew something
And now that you know how deep it was, you're filing for a conservatorship over your own child. Isn't that interesting?
was really not right. And you could tell, everyone would say, oh, she's medicated
And my same senses are tingling here, girlfriend. And they haven't been wrong once.
but just, everyone would say, oh, she's medicated but just not enough to not be able to work. And I mean, when people talk, they multiply things, but I
Like you right now. She medicate. You just can't. You just don't. When people talk, everybody knew. We didn't know the extent, but everybody knew it was wrong. You medicate, girl. I mean, I'd like to put her up there at like right next to Joe Biden with public speaking skills.
knew there was a certain basis, there was that grain of truth in it, so it bothered me.
Maybe he helps too. Cher's been dating 37-year-old music producer Alexander A.E. Edwards.
We just get each other.
Okay. This is another petition. Or is it a different form? Hold on. No, this is like a different form. Okay. Again, this is a public record. Anybody can access this document going through the LA court website. She should focus on her baby boyfriend. Age is just a number, but at the same time, like people routinely criticize like old people for dating young people because it's predatory. And I don't know like how somehow she has the moral authority to do that whenever her son is just simply spending his money and spending his like time how he wants to. I think for me, it's more of a hypocritical thing. Like she should know because she's doing something unconventional as far as society standards, which is dating somebody 40 years younger than her, how it feels to have all these things stigmatized. And here she is relying on stigmas of like social morality and acceptance to take away her own son's liberties because he's doing basically just living the life he wants to live. That's kind of more my point. I do think it is weird whenever people that are 40 years older than somebody do want to date somebody that's 40 years younger because age is just a number. I could kind of get on board with that to some extent, but there's a threshold, girl. Like there is a number at some, I mean, it's just, it depends on stuff like what the person's seen in their life, been through, stuff like that. But 37 is a grown man too at the same time. It's just kind of like, I don't know. You 77, like you don't have nothing in common with people that's 77. Like maybe something's wrong with you. I don't know. This is just my opinion. I don't know anything. All right, let me pull this up. This is another document that also says a petition for appointment of temporary conservator, but it looks different. So I don't really know why there's two different documents, but I'll read this one to y'all. This is probably true too. If there weren't laws for these people to manipulate to make corrupt judges sign off on, they still would finagle a way to get their chunk of the money. And they do. I mean, sometimes these people are killed and offed and hit men and things like that. I do think, though, that Kris Jenner would happily do this if any of her kids started to veer off. She would have no problem conserving them. I actually wouldn't be surprised in any way. Shady Cher girl. I know. Okay. So here's this document. What are we looking at? It says petition for appointment of probate conservator of the estate. This almost leads me to believe that maybe she does want to apply for person and estate. Because remember that last one they checked off estate, but she wrote person down here. This one says Cher requests that Cher be appointed the conservator of the estate. She is not a creditor, not a debtor, is the proposed conservator, is a relative, mother. Okay. I don't know why they put this here. Like, this question is about the successor. Oh, I see. Okay, no. So proposed conservator is a relative. Okay. It says mother. Again, they do not give him they do not bother to give value to any of his personal property. $0 is what they're saying his property is valued at, or his estate is valued at. So look, this is checked off because they're saying efforts to find him or reasons why it's not feasible to contact him is described on that confidential attachment. This is the first conservatorship proceeding they're filing for, is not a patient or on leave of absence from a state institution, but he's probably in a private institution. Proposed conservatee is an adult. They did file a confidential supplemental information form. Look at this. Where's the capacity declaration? They're just not going to do one? Look, medical treatment of proposed conservatee. There's no form of medical treatment for which he has the capacity of conformed consent. So they're not filing here for medical capacity declaration, but I don't care if they're making medical decisions or not. I still think that if you're trying to get a conservatorship based on someone's health, quote, severe mental health, that is health, that is something that a doctor needs to be involved in. So if you're trying to say to a court that his mental health is so bad that he needs a conservatorship, then I need a doctor to tell me that. Why are they not providing a capacity declaration? There's no doctor here. This is about medical treatments. So Cher's saying, oh yeah, well, I mean, he can consent to medical treatments. That's fine. He has enough capacity to do that. But I'm concerned about the money. He doesn't have the capacity to spend his own money. Y'all see? Y'all see what I'm kind of like trying to get at here? Okay. The names, residence addresses, and relationships of the spouse or registered domestic partner listed below. See attachment 11. Where is it? Okay. Confidential conservator screening form and then a court investigator. So we have that Loeb and Loeb girl signing again. Cher, no last name. Sherita Sarkeesian. Okay. Petitioner has been unable to discuss Elijah's preferences for who he wants to be in control of his money. Because of his current mental and physical health issues. That doesn't make sense. If I'm a judge, which no, thank you. But if I'm a judge, I'm going to say, what do you mean? What do you mean? His mental and physical health issues make him unable to discuss who he wants to be in control of his money. But you know enough about the physical and mental health issues to say you should be in charge of his money? I think he's locked up being held hostage somewhere. I really do. That's my conspiracy theory. I just do. Discussed in detail in the confidential thing that they filed without the public's knowledge. Like, we should be able to see this. He's unable to form or express a preference concerning the appointment of a conservator for his estate. And I think there should be a capacity declaration in this case, if that's the case. There's just no way. Just so Cher just gets to say, using hearsay and hopes and dreams, that her son doesn't have capacity to even so much as form a preference for who should be his conservator. Then why aren't you saying that he needs a conservator of the person too? If he's that disabled and incapacitated, he can't even choose who could be his conservator. It's not adding up. She's just using shit when it suits her and just forgetting about it when it don't. Elijah is entitled to regular distributions from a trust established by his father. Hello. It does not have anything to do with Cher, who is his ex-wife. Elijah is entitled to regular distributions from a trust established by his father for his benefit. But given his ongoing mental health and substance abuse issues, Cher is concerned any funds will be spent on drugs, leaving him with no assets to provide for himself. Additional facts and details supporting the need for a conservator are set forth in the confidential information thing that we don't get to read. In making the selection for conservator, the court is guided by the best interest of the conservatee. That's Elijah, not Cher. The appointment of a petitioner as conservator of Elijah's estate is in his best interest. Not only is Cher, his mother, entitled to priority of appointment. No, she is not entitled to shit. And this is another little game they play. It doesn't have shit to do with entitled. Cher is not entitled to anything. Once your child is 18 years old, you don't have entitlement rights to them anymore. Once they turn 19 or whatever, some states it is, there's no entitlement. Elijah's best interest is the only thing that should be of concern from a legal perspective. Elijah's best interests, that is it. He is entitled to his constitutional rights being respected. He is entitled to choose his own attorney. He is entitled, if a conservatorship is appointed, ordered, to choose his own conservator. He is entitled. He is the one that's entitled, bitch, not you. But it's very clear. Oh, it's so clear to me now. All the connections. I can't even say it. I can't even say it because it's just, I got to go get the receipts. But it's very clear. And yes, it's giving Kris Jenner. If you know, you know. And it's giving Lima Yarimovich. Yes, it is. Now, here's something I did not see reported in the news nowhere. Not one place did I see this reported in the news. Not only is petitioner, as Elijah's mother, entitled to priority of appointment as conservator, but two of Elijah's siblings, Jamie Lynn Spears and Krusty Lynn Margera, have entered the chat. Because you know how much money Chaz Bono is worth? Probably not much. But I wonder if Chaz Bono gets his distributions from his father's trust. I wonder if Chaz Bono would like it if this Almond kid if Elijah was in charge of his trust distributions from his father, Sonny Bono. I wonder. Two of Elijah's, and Sonny Bono, I just found a completely unrelated fact the other day, was a Scientologist. I did not know that. Did y'all know that? Did not know that. But two of Elijah's siblings, one of them is Sonny Bono's child, have nominated Cher to act as a conservator. So Krusty Lynn Spears and Jamie Lynn Spears, Margera, and them have entered the scene, and they said Cher should be the conservator of this estate. I do wonder how they would feel. I do wonder how they would feel if Cher was in charge of their distributions from their father's trusts. As explained to the concurrently filed, petitioner has worked tirelessly to get him into treatment and get him the help he needs. Well, this is straight out of Lima Yarimovich's mouth. I mean, it sounds so familiar. She's worked tirelessly. Let me say it in this voice and see if y'all can hear what I mean. Cher has worked tirelessly to get Elijah into treatment and get him the help he needs. She loves Elijah immensely and has always acted with his best interests in mind. Yeah, okay. You acted with such best interest that you waited until the law was put into place for you to get the aggressive conservatorship, and then it's just horse shit. I don't believe it. I don't actually even honestly believe Cher even does love this kid. I don't. I think she's taken out her personal problems with his father. You know, I mean, Cher was at the man's funeral, the ex-husband's funeral, Greg Allman. She was there. I think she always intended to try and get her talons into this estate money, and now she's doing it through her child, who, I mean, who knows how long she's been planning this. She just said that she knew during the Vegas days what was going on with Britney, and she heard and was listening and saw. And it's given Kris Jenner, and it's given Lou Taylor, and it's given Lima Yavremovich, and it's like they all end up, it's like the same judges in the same courthouse. Ain't a conspiracy theory whenever the actual same players are involved, Brenda Penny. Elijah filed for divorce from his wife in November 2021. But what did we learn earlier? The wife isn't sure that Elijah is even really involved in these filings. So who really did file for divorce? I don't know. I do not believe that he is free to make his own choices from day to day. I don't. I think he's locked up in a treatment facility, just like Britney was, just like Bam was. I think that they've been holding him there until they could get the talons in the estate. That is what I think. The trustee is holding funds from him right now. SJB Trust, ring a bell? The Jackass Trust that they started for Bam, ring a bell? Hello, it's so obvious. Oh, okay. So he filed for divorce from his wife, which I'm not actually even sure, to be honest, that he actually filed that. I would like to actually see proof. Because the wife is saying she don't even think he's involved in these filings. Cher believes Elijah and Angela were estranged, and their relationship has been marked by a cycle of drug addiction and mental health crises, which it seems like all of his relationships have been marked by that. So why does one person get to be the conservator and one person don't? Don't make sense. Cher believes the wife is not supportive of Elijah's recovery, and she works to keep him from getting clean and sober or receiving mental health treatment that he desperately needs. And then another way to say this is she wants him to make the decision on his own instead of forcing him and holding him hostage. That's another way to say it. Petitioner is informed and believes that Angela took steps, the wife, to check Elijah out of a treatment center. Well, they were saying the same type of thing about Bam Margera and TMZ. And what turned out was they were conspiring to keep him locked up in there against his will. He needed medical treatment. He wasn't receiving it. Lima, April, they were all holding him at this hotel. Lima was calling the cops in Delray. I mean, it was a setup. It was a setup. And Bam ran away. And so what you saw on TMZ was he's escaping from much needed treatment. There was no legal requirement for him to be there. And I guarantee you, if this conservatorship attempt is successful, they will let that man rot in a rehab until he is no longer with us. Period. I don't know. Obviously, I'm just predicting the future. I don't know. I'm not there in the future. Future predictions ain't defamation. So maybe Angela was actually trying to help him break out. Did y'all know Exodus Recovery Center in Los Angeles, California, also Drew Barrymore either stayed there or stayed in a similar facility owned by run by the same lady, was the last place Kurt Cobain was seen alive. Kurt Cobain. And Kurt Cobain comes to my mind because of this rock and roll connection, like rock music. And he has kids that receive trust distributions and all these Nirvana royalties and stuff. He escaped from a rehab too. Just kind of like how Bam was reported as escaped from a rehab. Courtney Love and all them had staged some type of intervention. Betty Wyman was involved. Betty Wyman was involved in a Kurt Cobain case as well as the Britney Spears case. We start to see some of those tentacles trickling in. And the last known place Kurt Cobain was ever seen alive, a rehab he escaped. He ran away from. He jumped over the back fence. So, I don't know, just things that come to mind, things to think about. Angela actively works to keep him from getting clean and sober, and she even took steps to check him out of a treatment center. Okay. Cher notes that because Angela and Elijah are currently in the midst of a dissolution, the divorce proceeding, Angela is not entitled to appointment as conservator of Elijah's estate. Okay, so this is just giving setup to me. And y'all, I'm just speculating. I don't know. I really don't know. But it would be pretty convenient if the lawyers, for example, knew this, that as long as somebody is in the middle of a divorce proceeding, their spouse is not entitled to appointment as conservator. It would, put it together with the fact this part's not speculation. This part's the truth. It's the truth that the wife has said she's not sure how much involvement the man even has in these court filings. Like the stuff they're saying in the court filings is definitely not coming from him because it's not accurate. And she even went so far as to say, I don't think that he's being kept in the loop. Okay. So knowing that little piece of information, wouldn't it be an interesting scenario if people who really understood the legal system really well knew that a wife in the middle of a divorce proceeding is not entitled to be appointed as a conservator, and they just filed court filings like on behalf of that person, just got them to file it or like, hey, you're getting a divorce or what? I mean, I don't know. Wouldn't that be interesting? Conspiracy theory to think about. It would be unsafe for Elijah to have his wife in control of his estate, but they're not divorced yet. And actually, it's going to be a super interesting legal question because the judge is going to have to decide, are they in the middle of divorce proceedings or are those proceedings stopped? Because this is why I do timelines. And I know it's tedious. And y'all, I promise you, it's very tedious for me to try to explain it to you. I do my best, but it is a lot of information in my brain and putting it into words is hard. But a lot of stuff happened in October. Take a screenshot, 2023. October 10th this year, Gavin Newsom signs that law, letting the mental health, severe mental health, substance use thing be grounds for a conservatorship. That was the 10th. The 11th, oh my God. Ugh. Let me just double check that this is true. Because if this is true, it's just too on the nose. Let me just double check. This is why I had to start doing lives again. Because I find this stuff and it just gets me so worked up. Because it's so obvious. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. And let me just make sure this was October 10th. Oh, October 25th. What was October 10th? Okay. All right. Okay. I got my little evidence up now. Here we are. Okay. So on October 10th, as we saw here, propaganda was released from Gavin Newsom's office. What was this propaganda? Pulling it up right now. Okay. Propaganda was released October 10th, 2023, saying they're modernizing the definition of conservatorship to include mental health and substance use. They're allowing that to be a reason to lose your rights. Okay. October 10th. October 11th, literally the next day after this propaganda comes out, literally, oh my God, holy shit. Literally the next day. Literally the next day. Look at it. October 11th. Cher says kidnapping plot allegations about son are not true. You do anything for your children. And this is an exclusive from People Magazine. Okay. People Magazine exclusive. That means Cher herself talked to, or a representative of Cher's talk to People Magazine. Okay. So here, look. Sorry, hold on. Let me put it in order here. Here. Okay. October 10th. Modernizing conservatorship to be severe substance use and all that, right? Modernizing. October 10th. October 11th. Cher finally, a month later, speaks out on month-old allegations about her. You do anything for your children. Almost as if she knew that law had been signed in to, the press release had just, look, the propaganda push is in full swing. We're talking about a woman on a first name basis with the entire world. I mean, she puts only her first name in court filings. So I don't think that it is necessarily too far of a reach to think she might have had something to do with all of this propaganda for the law. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just a conspiracy. I don't know. Sign me up for a conservatorship because I'm schizophrenic or whatever. I'm not, actually. I don't even believe in that. I don't, but I'm not a doctor. So make sure y'all go to the required sources for the information like that. Okay. Modernizing conservatorship, October 10th. October 11th, Cher talks about her son getting, saying the kidnapping rumors aren't true. Rumor is not true, but she confirms that the private family matter is related to her son's addiction issues. I'm not suffering from anything my, son isn't, a million people aren't suffering from. When you think of your children, you just smile and you love them and you try to be there for them. Right? This is the article we read earlier. So that's the 11th, one day after this thing is signed into law. What else happened in October? That's a busy month. It's a busy month for the Cher propaganda machine. The 20th, October 20th. So that what we just looked at, that's the 11th. So we got October 10th, the conservatorship law, propaganda, a press release. Next day, she finally speaks out about the kidnapping of the son and all that. And the weird thing about this to me is these kidnapping allegations in the court filings were literally from December 2022. So she waited almost a whole year. She waited 10 months to speak about these allegations. Okay, that's weird. Okay. Okay. Then 9 days later, here she is getting broadcasted on Extra saying absolutely nothing about Britney Spears. So this is,
I don't think it was right.
This is 9 days after she gave to People Magazine an exclusive commenting on her son, right? 9 days after that, here we are on Extra, and here's what she has to say about Britney, which is nothing.
I don't think it was right what her father did.
Now freed from her 13-year conservatorship, Britney is telling her story. And this music legend is candidly sharing her feelings about Britney's time under her dad's control.
It seemed to serve him, no matter what the help that she needed and needs, if she's still needing it, I hear things, no matter what, you just don't. You love your children, and sometimes you have to step in. I didn't like it, so I wanted to let her know that I was watching and I was listening. When we were in Las Vegas, everybody on the Strip.
Which was nothing, right? Okay, so that was 9 days after she finally spoke, a year later after these court filings. I mean, the court filings were in December. She waits till October to address the issues. Not true. And then, 9 days later, here she is talking about Britney saying nothing. What else in October? Then also in October so that video we just saw, that was October, published on October 20th. 5 days later, October 25th, that is when Elijah's wife filed the following court document. Let's look at that. Oh no, we already looked at it. That was the court document where she said, this one. Oh, this is so good. This is too good. It is honestly too good. I'm sorry. It's just too good. Okay. This court document, we looked at it earlier. If you weren't in here earlier, this is where it's actually a divorce filing. And it is in the divorce case between Mary Angela King and Elijah and the divorce. This is the one where she said, we have agreed on a 6-month stay in discovery and litigation to work on our marriage. A stay means the case is put on hold, right? So she's telling the court, we had agreed on this stay. And why did they do that? In order to work on our marriage. I haven't a 6-month stay, and I haven't seen him in 6 months. I don't know where he is. His mama won't tell me. I need to have access to his records so that I can even do this divorce. I can't even divorce. But she does say, and this is very important because you have to, y'all, if you don't ever take anything from me ever, please focus on timelines. You have to. This stuff all happens in the same time. It doesn't happen in a vacuum. Once again, October 10th, the law is signed or the press release is put out. October 11th, Cher starts to talk publicly about her son and his mental health and his private family matter. 9 days later, she's talking about free Britney, not really saying much. 5 days after that, the wife in the divorce case reiterates, hey, look, I don't even know where the guy is, okay? Haven't heard from him, missing, haven't got my money, haven't seen him. She already had said the year before, I'm not sure he's even the one in charge of filing this shit in this divorce case. I need to be able to talk to him. I cannot even talk to him. I don't even know where he is. We're trying to reconcile our marriage. And 2 months goes by and Cher's filing for conservatorship. And in those filings, she's saying, well, because they're in the midst of divorce proceedings, that lady shouldn't be the conservator. But this lady is saying, bitch, I see you rearing up for it. Where's my Michael Jackson pictures? Where's my own personal stuff from my storage unit? This is all about to be a huge war they're going to wage. And I don't know. I seem to remember that Mary Angela King is also a famous musician and singer in her own right. But I would venture to wager she doesn't have the full force of the machine behind her like Cher does. I tell you one thing, she got a last name in her court filing. So it's definitely building up to be a battle of this estate. It's concerning to me that they did not put his personal property valuation in this estate conservatorship application. They didn't put in the application these pictures owned by Michael, signed by Michael, whatever these Michael Jackson pictures are. They didn't put the art. They didn't put the instruments. They didn't say, yeah, a total of the houses he owns, the real estate he owns, the instruments he owns, the whatever bank accounts that he has is worth $16. I mean, no, nothing. That is a very big concern to me. What it looks like to me, I'm not accusing them of doing this, but it is a very ripe grounds for abuse. Conservatorship abuse, financial abuse, medical abuse. It's a very ripe grounds for it. The conditions exist because they're not telling us what the assets even are. We can use the Britney Spears case as a parallel because it happened in the same courthouse, and there's a lot of other different parallels as well. In the Britney Spears case, Lou Taylor told the original judge, Reva Gates, Lou Taylor and the rest, the people who filed the document, they said due to the complexity of Britney's estate, the valuation of things, the amount of, money she has, the different entities, the different royalties, we're just unable to really value her estate. We just can't say. We're going to have to get our hands in everything and say. And that was, 14 or 15 years ago at this point. 14 years ago. 15. They still never came up with a valuation of that estate. They still never did. And so it's like, when they're saying things in court filings like pictures, art pieces, instruments, jewelry, that stuff costs a lot of money. It's worth a lot of money. And so the fact they're not even putting and accounting for it in the probate conservatorship, and the fact that the wife said that they didn't account for it in the divorce proceedings either, is a huge red flag to me. Another huge red flag is that Elijah is nowhere to be seen or found. Not only has his wife said she don't know where he is. She's not allowed to know where he is because the mom keeps it a secret. The mom, Cher, also has said she hasn't had it bothered to discuss with Elijah who he actually would like the conservator to be. So no one has talked to Elijah, and it's giving Dahlia Takali, Dima Takali, Dia Takali. Why did Dahlia Takali submit a declaration in the case and not Dima/Dia? Who knows? But it's just tingling the same senses for me. And the last time this kept happening, it was like, you're a conspiracy theorist. But it's like, wait, no. Because look, Gabrielle Vidal from Loeb and Loeb is fresh on the scene, helping the conservator in this case. Whoa. Is this true, Nikki? I got to follow her. If anybody has any way to reach out to her, I really don't like talking to people on the phone and stuff, but I'll actually talk to her. I would like to ask her some questions. If she wants to come on live, that's cool too. I mean, look, if somebody can get in touch with her right now and she wants to come on live right now, just throwing it out there, come on. But Nikki said wife's Instagram 6 days ago was everyone thanking everyone who helped her get Elijah Blue back safely into the United States. They're having to like traffic the man secretly. Just got back safely into the United States 6 days ago, and the conservatorship was filed for 3 days ago. Oh, Aussie Insider. Okay, see, I haven't gotten this deep into it yet. Aussie Insider said, in her lawsuit, Cher claims Mary Bono, 60 years old, and the Bono Collection Trust are trying illegally to terminate her 50% share of the composition and recording royalties. Oh, which lawsuit is this? Is there like a Cher versus Mary Bono? Like Cher versus. Oh my God. Thank you for that tip. Ooh. Okay, timelines. Look at this. Sonny controlled Cher. He was their manager and was going to screw her out of money. So she kind of had to sue him. He was no hero. I saw something about this. Let me pull it up. I found Cher speaking about this. I just need to find it. Where is it? Hold on. I want to look for it for a few more seconds and then I'll just move on. But I wanted to pull this up because it is an appropriate consideration, I think. Let me see. Okay. Yes, this is it right here. Okay. All right. So it's in this extra article that I found this video in. Oh, this is weird. What is this? I hate to talk about how happy she also gets what's going on in the world right now in Israel. She noted, people forget if you were doing this to somebody else's family in the Middle East, seems like everything is always insane, boiling over. I didn't even actually watch that part. Let's see. All the ways our country is changing is just getting worse and worse. Lots of people trying to make it better. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if Trump gets into office. We'll have a hard time keeping our Constitution. Well, bitch, listen, I'm no Trump fan, as y'all know. I'm not a fan. But ma'am, you already are eroding on the Constitution. You're taking piss on it because you're trying to take away your son's constitutional rights without even freaking talking to him about who he wants to be in charge of him. So, I mean, that's you stomping on the Constitution. Just to be clear, You have no problem doing that. So I don't know why you're worried when Trump's doing it, which I do have a problem when he does it. So I just want to be clear. I have a problem when he does it. I have a problem when she does it. Just want to be clear. Cher also remembered Tina Turner. We had a bond the first time. Wow, where is this? Oh, hold on. Uh, is it gone? Hold on. Oh, okay. Wow. Whew. No, it's not gone. It's a different extra article. Oh my God. Okay. So, oops. All right. Let me show y'all this one. I found the right one. Okay. This article from 2010, actually. Cher is dishing on Chastity Bono. This was whenever Chaz Bono came out and transitioned and all that. Cher was very supportive even at that time. Okay. Look at this. Cher has another son, Elijah, with ex-husband Greg Allman, and she admits to having her problems with both children in the past. I think Chaz is pretty much finished with it, and I think Elijah, this is 13 years ago, this article. Elijah has a little longer to go, but they both really love me a lot. It's hard. She confesses her family has dealt with drug problems in the past. It's weird. Both of my children have the same drug problems as their fathers, the same drug of choice. My father was a bleep addict. My sister was alcoholic. It jumped us. I didn't do drugs because of moral issues or maybe religious. I don't know. I tried a couple drugs and never felt good, out of control, telling on herself. She likes to be in control. Talking about her marriage with Sonny Bono. This is not Elijah's dad. This is different. This is the other husband. Cher said he was a terrible husband, but a great mentor. He told me when we were together, one day you're going to leave me. You're going to go on and do great things. I wouldn't have left him if he hadn't had such a tight grip. Such a tight grip. Okay. So this does kind of play into what Crow Red Eye was saying, but also I have no problem believing that Cher could have been abused by the industry. I think more likely than not she was. And Sonny, maybe he was like a lot older than her, whatever. Excuse me. But let me see what I was looking at. There is a lawsuit. This is from April or March. So again, with the timelines, we have a lot of stuff going on in April. In March, this is when this came out. Look. March this year. March. This lawsuit, this is something new. It was what Aussie Insider just told me about it. This is how narcissists act. It's true. I know. I'm gonna have a fit. I'm already in the midst of a fit. Okay. Cher's royalties lawsuit against Sonny Bono's widow can move forward. A federal judge refused to dismiss Cher's case against Mary Bono, a messy mix of royalties, termination rights, and divorce law. Oh, dang it. Can I see anything? Paywall. Okay, let me see. Let me go to something else. That was March 16th, the beat, and Cher's lawsuit. Let's see this one. Long-awaited decision. In a long-awaited decision, this came out March 16th of this year. Now, important because April of this year is whenever they agreed or whatever to the 6-month stay. So March, this lawsuit, and again, why does this matter? Why is it important? Because it all happened in these people's world, right? Cher did not have a lawsuit going on with Mary Bono, and also issues were going on with this Elijah in two separate universes. No, Cher is the central spoke there. So what was going on in her life, in her universe at this time? That's why it's important. It's like, those things don't have anything to do with each other. They do, because the actors, the players who are effectuating these things are all connected to Cher. So in April, there was that. What did the girl say? Some type of there was a trial setting conference on April 21st. 2023. Shortly after that hearing in April, Elijah disappeared. So according to Elijah's wife, he disappeared in April. But what was also going on at that time, March, was that this lawsuit got to move forward. Now, do they necessarily have something to do with each other? Like, other than the fact that Cher is involved? Maybe not, but it could have something to do with the fact that Cher is concerned about money. Who knows? Who knows? Because Chaz Bono's name gets brought up in these conservatorship filings. And in fact, Chaz Bono actually signed a document in this conservatorship hearing. And let me bring that up for y'all. Okay. This also filed in the conservatorship case 3 days ago. Supplement to confidential supplemental information. I declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of California that the foregoing is true and correct. Chaz Bono. See that? So why is Chaz Bono signing documents in the conservatorship case? Well, allegedly he was nominating Cher to be his half-brother's conservator. He's involved here. He's also presumably somewhat involved here in this case with the Mary Bono, who's his Sonny Bono is Chaz Bono's father. Sonny Bono left Cher, or they left each other. Cher left him for abuse or whatever. Sonny Bono remarries to a woman named Mary. Mary is in a lawsuit with Cher, but here's the thing here. Let's see. In a long-awaited decision, court allows Cher's royalty lawsuit to proceed, despite copyright termination notices from Sonny Bono's heirs. Okay. A Central District of California judge denied Mary Bono's motion to dismiss a lawsuit over composition royalties Cher claims that she is owed under her 1978 divorce agreement with Sonny Bono. The court's ruling, you can read it here, rejected Mary's assertion that copyright termination served by Bono's heirs effectively preempted Cher's state law contract rights. This one's been a long time coming. The motion to dismiss, so Mary filed a motion to, so Cher sued for royalty compensation, and Sonny Bono's widow is like, no, I'm not trying to give her any more money or whatever. And Cher's like, okay, well, I'm suing. So she sues. And in response to the lawsuit, Mary filed a motion to dismiss Cher's lawsuit. Well, the defendant's motion to dismiss was originally filed in December 2021. Again, for you keeping up with the timeline, that's 1 month after this divorce proceeding was initiated, aka 1 month after Elijah filed for divorce. This motion to dismiss was originally filed. So I'm not saying those two things have anything to do with each other. I am saying that they happen close in time together. At this rate, Cher Bono litigation may end up lasting longer than the couple's marriage. Okay. At the time of their divorce, Cher entered into a divorce agreement. You can read it here. Wow. This is awesome. This is a good article. Thank you to whoever wrote this, because they actually linked PDFs of the actual documents instead of just like making us have to guess or find them. Shout out seriously to this person. Wow. Who wrote this? Copyright Lately? Wow. And it's free. There's no paywall. Aaron Moss. Good job, Copyright Lately. Thank you very much. Because look, they have like the ruling here. This is so unusual. This is so unusual, and it is how it should be. And it's how I try to be. But then whenever I share public records with y'all, people try to sue me for them and say they're private family matters, and they lose. They lose. Don't worry. They lose. Okay. So they entered into this agreement, this thing. This is their actual their actual marriage settlement agreement right here in 1978. Now, the baby was born, Elijah was born in 1976. They agreed to an equal division of community property assets under California law. Per the agreement, Sonny assigned Cher a 50% interest in musical composition and record royalties in the songs he had written or acquired during their marriage. During his lifetime, Sonny paid these royalties to Cher. Sonny died in 1998, and after that, his widow, Mary Bono, continued to pay the royalties to Cher. Okay, so y'all understand? They agreed to split 50-50 the royalties from the music. He died in 1990. He paid her the royalties, 50%. He died in 1998. And his widow, Mary, 17 years younger than Cher, she pays Cher out some royalties as well. But in 2016, Sonny Bono's heirs issued a notice of termination under Copyright Act Section 304C on various music publishers who Sonny had previously assigned rights in his musical compositions. Representatives of Mary Bono and the Bono Collection Trust then asserted that these termination notices also had the effect of terminating the stream of composition royalties for Cher. Mary Bono, the widow, refused to pay the royalties on the terminated compositions, prompting Cher to sue Mary and the Bono Collection Trust for declaratory relief and brief of the marriage agreement. Okay. So this is very complicated, and that's why I think only a very small group of lawyers in the country can even practice this type of law, because you have to know all this stuff. But, and I don't, I'm just reading the Copyright Lately article, but Sonny and Cher get married. They get divorced. 1978, they enter into a written agreement. It's kind of like a prenup, but after, so a postnup, where they kind of agree how they're going to split everything up. 50%, 50-50, everything that was done during their marriage. Cher, for years and years, has been receiving these royalties. And in 2016, the heirs of Sonny Bono, which presumably, does that include Chaz? Like, is Chaz involved in this on one side against Cher and one side with Cher, or is Chaz not one of the heirs? Because Chaz Bono is Sonny Bono's heir, I would assume, right? I mean, look, Sonny Bono's heirs issued a notice of termination under the Copyright Act on music publishers. So like, you know, like Sony or Geffen or whoever, I don't know, maybe, you know, whoever's publishing music these days. It's always the same 10 people, so one of them. And representatives of Mary and the Bono Collection Trust. Okay, got it. I think I see what's happening here. This allows for, okay, so this is how I'm going to interpret it to allow for Chaz to be left innocent here. Chaz, as an heir, perhaps was terminating the publisher's rights, but Mary and the Bono Collection Trust asserted the same termination notices also would terminate Cher's rights, not just Geffen and Sony and whoever, right? She refused to pay the royalties, and so then Cher sued. Mary's motion to dismiss was premised on the supremacy of federal copyright law over state contract law. Very tricky. And the inalienability of statutory copyright termination rights. She argued that while in 1978, Sonny could grant Cher his then current rights, including a 50% royalty interest, but he could not have legally signed away his heirs' future rights of termination. The heir's right to terminate under the Copyright Act preempts. So the wife is an heir, I guess. I don't know. It's trust in estates law is very complicated to me. It's very hard. It's like, it probably was the hardest section on the bar exam, to be honest. It really was very difficult to take that part. I mean, I passed with flying colors, girl, but. So the legal theory that Mary is saying is, because copyright law is federal law, and contracts are governed by state law. Y'all remember the pyramid we're always talking about, like the supremacy of the United States Constitution's at the top, and then federal laws, and then state, and then city, and whatever. So Mary's theory of the case is very complicated. I don't know which way it'll turn out. I don't have an opinion on it, but her theory of the case is you cannot assign somebody 50% of something in perpetuity forever, because if you're assigning something to your heirs, then you're necessarily assigning to them the right to terminate certain agreements and stuff. I don't know if that's true. It could be. I think it's probably a novel, brand new precedent setting type of thing. In opposing the motion, Cher conceded that Sonny's heirs had every right to terminate his prior copyright grants, but argued that doing so didn't relieve Mary of the contractual obligation to keep paying Cher's royalties. So Cher basically argues the opposite. Like, that doesn't have anything to do with me. That is only about the royalties. That has nothing to do with our agreement that we came to, which was supposed to last beyond his death. Cher's lawyers argued that copyright termination only affects rights that arise under the Copyright Act. Okay, that's a good argument. So Cher's lawyers are like, all right, fine. Maybe all that stuff about federal and state is correct. But that federal law doesn't apply to this case because Cher, her contract, didn't arise under the Copyright Act. It arose under an agreement between artists who were going to share royalties of the song, distributions, whatever. The lawyers also pointed out that the copyright termination statute expressly excludes rights arising under any state laws. Okay, that's a really powerful argument. I would need to read it myself before I would stand by it, but I actually think that might work. The Copyright Act itself apparently makes exception for contracts like this one. It says this isn't meant to apply where somebody made an agreement like that marital agreement. So we'll see. Right now, it's just allowed to move forward. The order is technically a split decision, but it is still a win for Cher, according to this author. The court's ruling rests on a distinction between the marriage agreement's treatment of the definition. It always comes down to these technicalities of definitions. Record royalties, which flowed from particular master recording agreements with Sonny's record labels. And so, okay, the court's ruling makes a distinction between record royalties and composition royalties. There's two different things in the court's decision. And those were perpetual, and they were not tied to any specific agreement. Record royalties, only relevant if the agreements with the record companies remain in full force. So they're saying, okay, record royalties have to do with those record company agreements. The practical effect of termination is that Cher no longer receives royalties for the copyright grants that no longer exist. This makes sense as a matter of logic. As I noted in my earlier article, the marriage agreement only entitled Cher to royalties generated from specific copyright license. It stands to reason that she would stop receiving those royalties if those specific copyright licenses were terminated, as the same result would occur if the pertinent license simply expired. Okay, so if it would have expired, she wouldn't have gotten the royalties. It didn't expire. It got intentionally terminated by the heirs. And so the argument is kind of like, well, is it the same? Is it different? And it's, who knows? I don't know. But the court's conclusion doesn't really appear to hinge on any unique aspect of copyright law. It's not clear that the record royalties are even implicated. Okay, so what are these composition royalties? All agreements with third parties for the exploitation of Sonny's musical compositions from all sources in perpetuity. The court ruled on their face these provisions would not fail. So, court concluded because plaintiffs' rights are linked to the musical compositions themselves. Okay, so this is what the court said in March this year. Cher's rights to the 50% are linked to the musical compositions themselves and Sonny's property interests with respect to the allegations in the complaint. So the termination issues from the heirs don't actually affect Cher's composition royalties. That's kind of what that means. They left open the possibility that Mary could present evidence as to the meaning of the MSA provisions. So they're like, all right, from what the evidence we do have, we can't really help you. If Mary has some other evidence somewhere of her case, like what they really meant when they put this in here, but we don't really know what they meant, so we're just going to go on the basic definition and what makes logical sense. But they gave her like a, without prejudice. They were kind of like, you can try again. That said, the plain language without any extra evidence, it does seem to clearly provide that Cher is entitled to get compensation regardless of when or how they were generated. So the court's rejection of Mary's argument does tip the scales in Cher's favor. Largely sidesteps some of the thornier conflict preemption. Okay. So thank you, Aussie. What was it? I forget. I just call it Aussie Insider. Thank you for this. Letting me know about this, because I was completely unaware. I have no idea that was going on, but it's very important consideration. I agree. And I think it's very valuable to bring it up. She says, we're reading the royalties suit from the civil courts to establish if the sudden conservatorship is due to money woes. And this reminds me of another rock and roll widow whose name I won't name at the moment, but there's a way to become famous just for being famous. And it's like so fascinating how it's like these Armenian icons that just do it all the time. Because Cher, I mean, I know that like what else does she have? I mean, she was iconic. I don't want to take away from her legacy and stuff, but who's really still streaming all these Cher songs? Like, does she really have enough money with the royalties? Has she become accustomed to living off of the Sonny and Cher royalties and doesn't want to lose them? Is she trying to supplement her income because she lost it in some other way? I don't know. But the fact that she is definitely in a huge legal fight for a lot of money, which I also assume costs a lot of money, in the same exact year that her son goes missing, who's the, sole heir or whatever of that trust. I don't know if he's the sole heir. But I mean, she's trying to take her talents into his trust. It's giving like, I don't know, energy vampire witch like vibes to me. Cher was more talented as an actress than a musician. I mean, her voice was very distinctive and I think polarizing. You either kind of really like it because you can appreciate how different sounding it is, or it's kind of like grates on your nerves. And it's just, it's like every other art. It's up kind of to your interpretation. I wonder how many other lawsuits are going on with Cher. I sure do. So I wanted to read one more thing before I go. And it was a Twitter thread that Brittany the Stan did put together. Oh, I wanted to show y'all one other thing too. So, of course, Mother of the Year, April Margera. She posted this on Instagram this morning. Mothers have to do what they have to do. And then this is what she's quoting. Look at this. April Margera posted this on Instagram this morning. Here's Cher with her little baby. These are words she said recently. I'm not suffering from any problem that millions of people in the United States aren't. I'm a mother. This is my job, one way or another, to try to help my children. This is April Margera posting this on her Instagram account, hyping up Cher, right? This is my job, one way or another. I try to help my children. You can do anything for your children whenever you can help them. Oh, sorry. You can do anything for your children. Sorry. You do anything for your children. Whenever you can help them, you just do it, because that's what being a mother is. Whenever you can lock them up against their will, you sick fuck. Y'all are sick. Whenever you can help them, you must do it, because that's what being a mother is. But it's joy, even when heartache mostly. Hold on, because it's just too on the nose to something else I read recently. Hold on. Okay. Y'all remember this post? Lima Vermara, September 16th. A mother's love is an infinite source of sacrifice and selfless choices. My mom has not only had to bear, spelled bear wrong, the burden of sleepless nights and raising her children as a single mother without any financial support from my father, but she's also had to go through the pain of watching her beautiful daughters fall ill as she surrenders her own desires and aspirations to care for and protect my sisters. These are sacrifices most people could never comprehend, stupids. Over the last 19 months, I've had a woman cyberstalk, not true, and a court has agreed that was not true, and terrorized me. No, I have not. My family, my friends, who are your friends? I have not seen one evidence of one friend. And my colleagues, all with the full support of an internet audience that is only amplified. My mother and sisters have been her latest target. Okay, right. All this mother's love and then full of lies and bullshit. All this mother's love and full of lies and bullshit. Mother's love, mother will do anything for her the daughters, the children. Well, listening to the daughter, listening to the actual daughter herself, Dahlia Takali, she said her mother should be in jail. She said her mother should be in jail. She said that her mother has sex trafficked her. She said she's been trafficked, R-worded, because of her mother. She said she's scared of police because when she's trying to get her mother arrested, they don't listen to her and they don't do their jobs. But here's the propaganda out in full force. Here it is. A mother's love is an infinite source. What is the difference between that shit and this? April Margera, another clown grifter who does this mothers love, mothers support their children no matter what. Mothers have to do. Well, let me do her voice. Mothers have to do what they have to do, Bam. Mothers have to do what they have to do. They all have this mother bullshit, mother propaganda, and it's just a bunch of wicked witches, trying to steal their children's rights and money. Trying to justify stealing away their kids' rights. You know who else did that mother's, father's shit? James Spears. Lynn Spears at a time. I would do anything for my child. I'll do anything for my daughter. We love her more than y'all. Who's conspiracy theory need to stop. That's what y'all damn sound like. And here you have clown of the damn century, April Margera, mother of the clowns. Mothers have to do what they have to do. One way or another, help my children, do anything for them. What? Do anything for your children. Cher said in open court, the reason that she's doing this is because she's scared he's going to spend his money. She's not even trying to get him forced into treatment. She's not even trying to, he's already forced into treatment. It seems like she don't need to get him legally forced into treatment because there's 4 men showing up to hotels filed under penalty of perjury to kidnap this man. It's obscene. It's obscene. And I don't really care what these people do to me because my last day on this earth could be today. And I'll know that I went down from my last day on earth speaking out against something that I know in my heart, soul, and mind is wrong. It's wrong. It's misleading propaganda. And these people are wicked. In my opinion. In my heart, soul, and mind. In my heart, soul, and mind, this has to be called out. This mother propaganda, it's insulting to something so pure as true mother's love. That is like a true, like, man. But not all mothers are created equal, baby. And not all fathers and not all mothers. Look at April Margera. Look at her. She was caught on body camera footage lying to her own son because she loved him so much. Lying to get him locked up against his will, tricking him, luring him to a hotel, buying him an alcoholic beverage with her money at a bar on body camera footage. Why does he need to be locked up? You're the one giving him the beer, the alcohol, the vodka, whatever it was. Here, a mother's love. Mothers will do anything to protect their children. A mother's love. You know who else said mother's love? Dee Dee Blanchard. Dee Dee Blanchard had that mother's love too, and she was abusing and holding her child hostage as a slave. Mother's love. Okay. Let me see. I want to go to this Brittany the Stand thread, and then I think I'm gonna be done. Okay. So, thread queen, Brittany the Stand, let me make it bigger. Exposing Cher's plan to put her son under a conservatorship and steal her ex-husband's estate. A thread. Hashtag free Elijah. Okay. Yesterday, singer Cher officially filed court documents to put her son Elijah Blue Allman under a conservatorship. The case was filed in the same courthouse as Brittany's, and these court documents are publicly available through the court's website. Not a conspiracy. Thank you. According to the court documents, Cher hired this woman, Gabrielle Vidal, from Loeb & Loeb to file the conservatorship. You might remember her because she was also court-appointed attorney for a period of time in Britney's case. While Cher claims her son has, quote, severe, see that quote, severe, quote, substance abuse issues, she actually admits in the court documents that she has no interest in helping Elijah get treatment because she didn't file for conservatorship with the person or his medical affairs. She wants only the conservatorship over his finances. She wants control over his money. Let's be clear. This is the wrong kind of conservatorship for alleged drug issues. Probate conservatorships are meant for people who literally cannot make their own decisions because of, so probate, she's talking about probate conservatorship here. Probate, the one they filed for, are actually meant for people who literally cannot make their own decisions because of coma, disability, age, or other issue. An LPS conservatorship disability. LPS conservatorship can be appointed for drug use issues by a licensed professional, but Cher cannot be the conservator under that law. So she does not, she also does seek to use Gavin Newsom's new care court for people with substance abuse issues, which went into effect 2 months ago. Okay. Wrong kind of conservatorship, probate conservatorship. Elijah's rights are already being violated by the state of California. In fact, Judge Brenda Penny, the same judge on Britney's case, red flag, has already signed an order on her own motion. Nobody even motioned to give the this lawyer, right? Elijah didn't come into court and say, I want my own. These people, this is so freaking transparent and obvious. Even though they're trying to hide it, it's so obvious to me. On her own motion, where is Elijah? Can we start a hashtag, where is Elijah? Hashtag, where is Elijah? I mean, let's just do free Elijah just to kind of like make it a shorter hashtag. But yes, I would like to start hashtag free Elijah. Actually, I don't want to start it. No, I don't want to start it. It's already started. Let's join Britney the Stan and not send any hate to anybody or anything like that, but just raise our voices as we are entitled to do still. For somehow we're still entitled to do that, even though these people are taking shit all over the United States Constitution every damn day in the Stanley Mouse Courthouse. I'm going to start using the free Elijah hashtag. And I would like to talk to Mary Angela. Instead of allowing Elijah to choose and hire his own attorney. It looks like the fix is already in, you guys. This is exactly how it happened to Britney. Yes, it is. Side note, the LA Superior Court is already under scrutiny for handpicking the judge in Britney's case. So we wouldn't be surprised if Judge Penny was hand chosen for this case as well. This is her next big case. And this is the evidence of her actually, people forum shopping in the LA Superior Court. Here's what Cher is asking Judge Penny to do. Appoint her as conservator of Elijah's estate. Give her the distributions owed to Elijah's estate through his existing trust. Establish a new account for conservatorship at a financial institution of her choosing. And deposit all assets from the trust into conservatorship account for Elijah's benefit. But how much of that will go to court costs and attorney's fees? A lot of it. Cher actually uses the same language. Oh, yeah, you were watching. Freaking mayor of Whoville looking ass bitch. Cher actually uses the same language. And this is something I noticed as well. It's the Jamie Spears. Loves the son, loves the daughter so much. Lima loves my sisters very much. The mother loves her so much. Okay, well, the mother accused her of sex trafficking. So I don't know how you could get those two wires crossed, bitch. I do not know. Dee Dee Blanchard loved her daughter so much too. Was keeping her as a slave, hostage, prisoner, forging legal documents. Loves her son immensely and worked tirelessly to get her son into this forced treatment. I'm assuming it's forced. I don't know for sure, but it does seem like it since he was kidnapped, according to court documents. She repeats over and over that it's in Elijah's best interests. However, Cher was actually accused of hiring men to kidnap her son and force Elijah into treatment against his will, which she denied at the time, but now sort of admits it in the court documents. If this is true, how is it in Elijah's best interest to appoint Cher as his conservator. Cher claims she has priority of appointment as Elijah's conservator, but we looked up the code that she cited. Yes, yes. Brittany the Stan looked up the code. She actually looked up the code already. Cher claims she has priority of appointment, but we looked up the code, and that is simply not true. Girl, just don't just lie in court. Thank you. Don't just lie in court documents. Elijah has a wife named Angela, and she technically has priority. Thank you. Period. Look at this. Look at it. Well, it does say it is solely in the discretion of the court, but the court is to be guided by what appears to be in the best interest of the conservatee. Okay. Look, following, oh my God. Thank you, Brittany the Stan, for looking this up. I mean, I would have gotten to it eventually, but I'm glad I'm able to cover it in this live. Subject to the sections of persons equally qualified in the opinion of the court. Well, that's Brenda Penny. So she has a very, very terrible opinion because she allowed James Spears to be in charge of Britney Spears. So I do not trust her judgment in any way. In fact, I think she needs to be removed from the bench. But it's up to her to appoint a conservator of the person or estate or both. But preference is to be given in the following order. Number one, the proposed conservatee's stated preference. That's number one. But Cher already told us she didn't bother to ask for the stated preference of Elijah. No, she did not. Conservatee's stated preference, she said, no, his mental health, I can't talk to him or whatever right now. So I should be the one. I should be the one that's the conservator. Ting. Including preferences expressed by speech, sign language, alternative or augmentative communication, actions, facial expressions, other spoken and non-spoken methods of communication. Cher didn't bother to get any of that. A sign language, a smoke signal, a head nod from her son. First priority is who does he want to be his conservator? Number one. Nobody bothered to ask him yet. Brenda Penny has already appointed an attorney, a lawyer to represent him. I don't even know where Elijah even is. We don't even know if he's going to be at the hearing. I doubt he gets served proper notice. I doubt he does. The number two thing to consider is the prior conservator's preference is the selection of a successor. So we're not talking about a successor, so this doesn't apply. Okay, so number two doesn't apply. So we have number one, which is be his choice. What's his choice for conservator? Number one. Number two doesn't apply. Number three, third priority, next down the list, the spouse. So that would be Mary Angela King, or the domestic partner. I don't know if he has a domestic partner, but I know he has a spouse, and it's Mary. And she said in October that their divorce proceedings have been stayed. Prior to the conservator, okay. The spouse or domestic partner or the person nominated. So that's two. So look, we need to put some people in the row. We need to put some people in the in the priority list because I think it's worth actually putting it. Let me put it here. Priority number one, Elijah's choice. Priority number two, NA, not applicable. Priority number three, spouse. Priority number 3A, or I guess I should do 3A. Spouse. Priority 3B, the spouse's choice or nominee. Okay, so spouse, nominee. Okay, so for an adult child of the proposed conservatee. So if he would have any adult children, which he does not, so that one's out. Okay, and what about 5? So that would be all those people would be ahead of Cher. Okay, and then a parent. Then a parent. Okay, so that would be Cher. Okay, so let me do this. Oh, I get so worked up. All right. So number one priority, Elijah's choice. Number 2 priority, marry Angela, legally speaking. That's 2 people on top of Cher on the totem pole here. Then we have number 3, Mary Angela's Choice nominee. And then 4 would be Cher. Okay. And I guess 0 would be no conservator. Okay. Here. This is what we're looking at. This is what we're working on. Okay. You see how far down the line Cher is here? Number 0 is no conservatorship. Number 1, Elijah's Choice. Well, Cher said, we can't do that. We can't do Elijah's Choice because I didn't bother to ask him. And mental health and substance use. Okay. Well, that's gone. Number 2, Mary Angela. Okay. Well, she should be the conservator then. It should be her. Mary Angela, the wife. No, she can't be. Why not? Because they have a strained relationship due to drugs. Well, so do you and him. So that don't, what? But that's what she says. Okay. She also tries to say they're in the midst of divorce proceedings, but I don't actually see that actually listed here anywhere like that. That matters. It doesn't say if you're in the midst of divorce proceedings. I don't know where they got that from. Number 3, then, okay, fine. Mary wouldn't be a good choice by statute, by law, she's entitled to be the next in line to nominate a conservator. Look, we're looking at it right here. Or the person nominated by the spouse. Okay, so even if Mary would be so bad, what about this person? What about the person she would nominate? What about that? Even if she can't be it. No, Cher doesn't even bother to mention that. They don't even bother to mention that. But thank you very much, Brittany Stan, for actually looking that statute up. That's very helpful. I love when I'm able. Oh, who's she? Oh, that's the wife. Okay. Okay. Cher says Elijah filed for divorce from Angela in 2021. But look, Brittany the Stan's already on it. This was never actually finalized in court. More recently, Angela helped Elijah check out of the treatment center. Cher claims Angela is, quote, not entitled to be conservator, and the court must apply a clear and convincing standard of evidence to prevent Angela from becoming conservator. But Cher does not seem to apply the same scrutiny to herself. Exactly what I think. Exactly. Cher, and I didn't even read this whole thread. I read like the first 5 or so, and then I was like, oh, this is a good thread, and I retweeted it. But yeah, I mean, wow, it's like literally the same points I noticed. Brittany the Stan had already noticed. Cher, and this also, I love when this happens. Some people are like, no, I wanted it to be no. I love it when somebody else had an idea first. Brittany the Stan already noticed this, so I'm not conspiracy theorist if she ain't. Cher claims she was unable to discuss Elijah's preferences concerning her appointment as temporary conservator. She does not know if he will be at the hearing, but she will provide a copy of the petition and notice to him, which Brittany did not receive. And I don't know that he's going to receive it either, to be honest. A big issue in this case is the age of the proposed conservator. Usually, conservatorships are meant for old people who cannot take care of their decisions. I wouldn't say usually, but I would say often. Often, conservatorships are implemented against and, imposed upon elderly people who start to get Alzheimer's and dementia. And it is very often. It's becoming more common because they use the propaganda machine at full force to normalize it with Britney. They made it very normal to steal away a woman's rights, use her as a slave, use her body, collect money off of what she's doing, not let her see her. They made it normalized. They normalized it in our society. And so now we have to put our foots back down and say that wasn't normal. It was fucked up. And we're not going to let y'all keep doing it. But it has become, unfortunately, a little bit normalized for rich people, especially, to put their kids in conservatorships. And that's not really supposed to be how it works. No, it's not. They literally had to change laws in order to force it to work. Cher is almost 80 years old and Elijah is in his 40s and is still extremely young. So that's very weird to me. Another issue is Cher's resident. Oh, shit. No. Oh, Britney's trending? Nice. Hold on, let me get back to where I was. Oh, Brittany the Stan. Good catch. Good catch. Another issue is Cher's residence. She currently lives in El Centro County, which is over 3 hours away from LA, where she filed for the conservatorship. She does not plan on changing Elijah's residency. So, how is she going to perform day to day duties of a conservator? Well, I don't guess she has to be in his personal life to manage the estate. I don't know, girl. It's a good question, though. Why is she filing in the LA in the Stanley Moss courthouse? Where's Malibu? Is Malibu in Beverly Hills? Where's Beverly Hills? That's LA. I don't know. Hold on. Malibu is a region of Los Angeles. So maybe it's that. I don't really know. Let's go back to this. Good point though, that she doesn't live there. Cher listed no experience as a conservator, has never filed an accounting with the court, has never been appointed to manage another person's affairs, and she's definitely not the most qualified candidate to serve in this position, even if it was deemed necessary. A neutral third party should be appointed instead. Oof. Same surgeon though as the Kardashians. I will put money on it. Look at that wig. Oh my God. Okay. All this is actually very important because she's trying to be in control of his estate distribution. She's not trying to be in control of his day-to-day life. If she was trying to say, I need to oversee my son's healthcare treatments because, I want to put him in, rehab or whatever. I'm his mom. I'm in the best position to do that. I don't think that's true, but that's a totally different argument than I'm his mom. I'm in the best position to manage his multi-$100,000 estate. And why is she even applying for a permanent conservatorship? It's a little bit of a misnomer because it says temporary on the conservatorship application. But probate conservatorships generally become permanent. LPS conservatorships are the ones that expire after a year. So if she's so worried about his mental health, why doesn't she just seek a temporary 1-year LPS conservatorship, take control of the assets for why? This is obviously a long-term, long-haul attempt. They're bringing in the big guns. Loeb and Loeb, Brenda Penny. Hello. She went and gave exclusive statements to people one day after the propaganda law was passed for the conservatorships. She's not a financial fiduciary. What on earth does she have? What business does she have taking over somebody else's money? Tell me. Tell me. She claims there's good cause for appointment of a conservatorship, which is technically the only requirement she needs to be appointed on a temporary basis until a further hearing. Cher is also hiding information from the public through a document she deemed as confidential without an order from the court to actually seal it. Yes, thank you. This is another important point. Cher is hiding information from the public, and her and her attorneys just deemed it was confidential. But there's no court order that says it's confidential, so I don't know how she was able to file that confidential like that. Yes, thank God. This is a violation of our rights. Yes, Brittany the Stan. Yes, it is. Cher is hiding information by just deciding something is confidential. No, it isn't. It's a violation of our rights to publicly available information in our courts. Period. I'm retweeting this. Hold on. Thank you. Okay. There's a major time issue here because Cher filed these documents too late. Yes, and it wasn't too late. It was right on time for these wicked witches. Right on time. She filed them too late on purpose. Elijah is due to receive the first distribution December 31st, and it is required. But because of California's required 5-day notice for a conservatorship and the court holiday, the first hearing isn't going to take place till January 5th. So they're going to keep holding this person's money from him. They're not going to give him his money. No, they're not. If they do, let me know. I'll issue a I stand corrected. But they're not going to give him this money. They never intended to give him this money. This has always been in the works, and they've always been waiting to do it until this Gavin Newsom care court bullshit was passed, and it worked right in time for these witches. Because of California's 5-day notice, it's not till January 5th. Free Elijah. He will receive at least, hopefully, I doubt it. They're going to hold it. We'll see. Predictions of the future are not defamation. Elijah will receive at least the first distribution from the trust before the conservatorship can be appointed on a temporary basis. And this is already a big win for Elijah. Yeah, well, if he does, if he receives it. But what I've learned about things is people don't like following rules, and they like acting like the rules don't apply to them. Oh, there's already a movement? Who's the leader? I need to know who's the leader first. How will Cher be able to defend her proposed conservatorship after the intended benefit would be received? Oh, I see what you're saying here, Brittany the Stan. Smart. Good question. Brittany the Stan is saying, how is Cher going to defend this proposed conservatorship after he already receives the money, right? So the first distribution, it's my opinion, it's not going to be given. It's my opinion, they're not going to give Elijah his money. They're going to say, yes, it's required, but there's a conservatorship, so we're holding it. There's a stay. That's my opinion. Brittany the Stan has a different opinion. Brittany the Stan thinks they're going to give him the first distribution. And in that world where they did do that, which would have to happen by tomorrow, which, no, today the banks are closed. Well, the banks are probably open. They could give it to him today, but they have to do it by tomorrow. Tomorrow's Sunday. Probably the banks are closed or whatever. I don't know. Can you do wires on Sundays? I don't know. Then in any event, it is New Year's Eve. So stuff's going to be held up. People ain't going to be working. Is that trustee working? I don't know. Business day this, business day that. I doubt they're going to give him the money. But let's say they do. In that world where they do, he will have received some of the distributions. And Brittany the Stan is saying, how is Cher going to be able to defend her proposed conservatorship once he already got the money? That's him, I guess. Let's talk about this trust quickly. Because the money that Elijah is supposed to get, which is only $120,000 a year, is not even Cher's. Yes, thank you. This money is being passed down to him from his father's trust, who died in 2017. Elijah is the only son of Cher and Greg Allman, who had a brief marriage in 1976. I think this is a lie too. I don't think it's actually only worth 120,000 because we already know they did not put the property assets list in there. Okay. Now, Cher is trying to put down a $120,000 bond of her own money backed by insurance to be appointed as the conservator and take over the ex-husband's estate through her son. I don't know if it's a taking over the estate through her son. I don't think he is in charge of the estate. There's a trustee on the estate. Now, is Cher the trustee on the estate? Is the son the trustee on the estate? I don't know who's the trustee because they don't tell us in the documents. They say the trustee. I don't think from what it looks like to me that Cher is trying to take over the whole estate. I think she's trying to take over the royalties distributions from her son, or the trust distributions from her son. It doesn't say that he is supposed to become the trustee. It says that he is supposed to be receiving $120 in distributions. Now, could maybe Brittany Stan know something I don't? Could maybe this be a situation where this is what's going on? Elijah is maybe the trustee of that estate and Cher wants to be the trustee of that estate. I don't know. It could be something going on with the control of the estate as well. But from what I can tell, it just has to do with distributions from the estate, the money coming out of the estate to Elijah. But this could be an interesting plot twist that I hadn't thought about. She wants to take over instead of just allowing the money to flow to Elijah as his father intended. While Cher includes 2 declarations of support for the conservatorship, including one from Cher's other son, Chaz Bono, Elijah actually has 4 other siblings on Greg Allman's side. So you can do the math. The declarations are also hidden from the public against our rights to public access. Thank you, Brittany the Stan. Again, correct. There's 4 other siblings here that are all under Greg Allman. None of them filed a declaration. It's only Cher's other kids filing declarations, or one of those declarations. All of this looks very sketchy for Cher, considering that she recently said Jamie Spears wasn't right for putting Britney under a conservator, but she knew the whole time Britney was in Vegas. Yeah, it looks shady. It's sketchy. Cher was also one of the early supporters of the Free Britney movement. Yes, she was. So it's incredibly disappointing to see her use the same techniques as Britney's conservator on her son. Yes, Cher, look, possible just enough minds to keep her working, but not enough to have a life. And now she wants to be the moral authority. Finally, Cher does not meet the criteria of the new Free Britney bill we successfully passed in 2021, which requires the court to find that all alternatives to conservatorship have been explored. I don't think that law actually requires that. I think y'all were duped. I've never seen it in an actual court filing. I've never seen it in an actual piece of legislation. It does not say and require. No, it doesn't. And maybe I'm just stupid. Brittany Stan, if you have the statute point, I would like to be corrected on this issue. I don't want to be wrong, but I've never been able to find any mention in that statute of the court being required. Required is a very different thing than guided by. Okay. I looked high and low through that Free Britney bill. I didn't see no requirements of such a thing. I saw it said in propaganda articles. I did see that. But when I went and looked at the receipts myself, I couldn't find it. So if y'all find it, let me know. I just don't agree with this tweet, but that's fine. I don't have to. I appreciate the thread and all that. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong about a few things in life. Cher does not address this issue, whether there have been alternatives to conservatorship. She does not address this issue in her pleadings. Now, the Free Britney Act that they passed, it does require Brenda Penny to at least consider whether alternatives have been tried and all that, explored. But it doesn't, in my reading of that Free Britney thing, it does not require it. Cher does not address why she didn't discuss the issue at all in the filings. This could be the first major test of this new law. It could even free Elijah. In conclusion, yeah, it could be the first major test of this new law. And I hope it is, because it's my opinion. I'm glad, and I hope it is, because I've been saying this. You cannot give somebody who's already a bad actor the benefit of the doubt. You cannot. You cannot give a corrupt public servant like Brenda Penny the benefit of the doubt that she's going to do the right thing, because it's clear she won't. She has to be explicitly, expressly told, because she's too fucking stupid or intentionally evil to figure out what's right and what's wrong. You cannot say, oh, it'd be nice if the judges considered whether or not the conservatee made. No. Whether they considered other, no. If Judge Brenda Penny and Reva Gates and them types of Viva K. Bob are not required by law to do something, they're not going to do it. They are corrupt. It will be the first major test of this law, because you know what I've been saying since it was passed, when y'all were all out there signing things and clapping and cheering about yay Free Britney Act, and I was sitting in my hotel because I was so disgusted by it. I was saying the law is going to be used to take away people's rights. It's going to be used to strip people of their autonomy and their fundamental liberties. None of this shit what they talking about is going to actually come to fruition about it making it harder to put somebody in a conservatorship. No, it's not. And in fact, and indeed, we're seeing it's easier. I was right. So I hope I'm not right on some other stuff, because there's some other ways that I see this being exploited. It's not helpful. And that's why you've never seen me acting excited about this bullshit. I'm scared of it, because in my reading of it, I can see how it could be twisted by these people who are not required to do this stuff. All it did was expanded who conservatorship law could apply to and put more people in conservatorships, y'all. Hello. Please. It's so obvious to me. It almost makes me mad and aggravated that the people that are this involved haven't seen the obvious yet. However, I've been wrong. And if it does free Elijah, I will certainly stand corrected, and I hope it does. In conclusion, we have to speak up to prevent Cher from putting her son in a conservatorship like Britney. Even if she loves him and wants the best. Oh, like these people? Oh, yeah, yeah. Um, this is not the correct legal course of action. No, it is not. This is conservatorship abuse, plain and simple. And I agree. I do agree. Let me just check my board and make sure there's no outstanding points I missed. And I think we'll be close to done. Let's see. The fake tax returns, that was one thing that I wanted to point attention to, because who else has been accused of faking tax returns? So, Marie Angela, whatever her name is, in her divorce papers, she said that she was presented with fraudulent tax returns, and it wasn't until she kept pushing the issue and all that that they sent her the right ones. And who else has been accused of fraudulent tax returns? The Kardashians, the other Armenian icons we have in the witchcraft cult or whatever they're in, the dancing around the full moon cult. I don't know what they do, but they also have been accused of forging tax return documents by Forbes magazine. Whenever the whole thing with Kylie came out and she was going to be a billionaire or whatever, accused them of forging tax documents. The Prince Estate is under investigation. Prince Estate, run by Lou Taylor, who's best friends with the Armenian mafia over there with what should I call the Armenian coven, the Kardashian coven. She's besties. She's got her hands all up in their business too. She's been accused through her management of Prince's estate of also filing fraudulent tax documents or lying on tax documents. So that was one thing I wanted to say. Like, now we have this attorney for Elijah, who has also resigned from this case, by the way. The attorney that was accused of filing the fraudulent tax documents is no longer on the case. Elijah has a new lawyer. The wife is saying Elijah is probably not even involved in this case and in these filings. So I don't know what's true, what's not. And the thing about the kidnap, like the allegations that they sent people to kidnap them. There's Bahad Bahabi, who was kidnapped in that way. There's Paris Hilton, who they were sent to the troubled teen camps. There's Bam Margera, who we saw on body cam footage getting interventioned on with the force of sometimes they use the cops, sometimes they don't. There is the Francis Bean Cobain fiance, husband, whatever, guy, ex-husband, whatever he was at the time, alleging that he was kidnapped by Sam Lutfi and some other people. Amanda Bynes was tricked into going somewhere with her friends. She was kidnapped and forced into a intervention, and then forced eventually into a conservatorship. And so it's just, what Shelly Miscavige, where is she? Dahlia, where is she? Dia, where is she? And Elijah, where is he? It's just all looking real similar. It's just all looking real familiar. JW, thank you very much. Elijah is on recorders as synchrony. He started doing drugs at 11. Since his mom was his guardian back then, doesn't she have a track record of failing him already? She should not be in charge. Again, good point. You couldn't control him from getting on what when he was 11, and you're going to control him somehow? No, that's the thing. She's not trying to control him. She's trying to control the money. It is all about money, and that's why I said it in the title. It's all about money. She says it's all about money. Thank you for the super chat. Ariana Grande is going to be next. Somebody has to advocate for them, and I will keep doing it. Doesn't work. What is this? Doesn't work. Medicine doesn't work how it should at all, like the medical field. Most people don't have acceptable or appropriate care, and it's not a right. And honestly, even like that, though, like even that is starting to get twisted. Like, everyone has the right to mental health care, so we should put them in conservatorships and let the treatment care be free. No, you don't have a right to have your rights taken away and forced into psychiatric incarceration. No, you don't. But it's like, even there, it's like they call torture help, and people dying, they say they saved their lives. Everything's backwards and upside down, so it's hard to even keep track. That's all I really have for today. I'm hungry. I want a snack. I want something to drink. In the meantime, please do go watch my video that came out yesterday on Gypsy Rose Blanchard because it fits right into all of this. The evil, crazy wicked witch mother trying to take over the life, the autonomy, the rights, the fundamental liberties, sometimes the money, etc., of their grown adult child, lying sometimes, not filling out fully the court documents. I am not letting my foot up off the gas on this one. Nope. Let's ride. Let's roll. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation. Love you, Mina. Okay, bye.